Good morning, and thank you for joining us here in beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina for your 2023 UNCG SEA Spartan Championship. I am your MC, Ryan Brian Barles-Linhart, and today we have the opportunity of witnessing 14 of the finest programs across the state of North Carolina duke it out in Rocket League at the highest level of Scholastic Esports. Leading to today's competition, we went through 7 weeks of a grueling Swiss-style regular season play before 3 weeks of an single elimination bracket play before crowning your North Brunswick Esports your division champions, securing their first seed in today's tournament. Excitement and determination fill the air as the arena populates with the fiercest competitors across the state of North Carolina. So lock it in, tune in, and kick back as we watch these teams compete for their shot at glory. We ask that all spectators and competitors remain respectful of other fans and competitors in the arena, and remember to remain learning through esports in education. In collaboration with Horizon AVL, Esports Integration, and Esports Development and Growth Enterprise, we proudly welcome you to the UNCG SEA Spartan Championship. Now on to our casters.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome live from the UNCG Arena. It's the SEA Spartan Championship of Spring 2023. My name is Hurricane Dante. I'll be your host of ceremonies this morning, and today I'm with Instinct. Instinct, how are you feeling about the energy in the arena today?
I'm feeling really good. There's a lot of emotions. These teams have come a very long way, long journey to get to this point. Regular season, playoffs, great qualifier tournament a couple weekends ago. How's the matchup looking today?
Matchup's looking absolutely amazing. I'm having a great time seeing all these players in person in this LAN championship. And, you know, speaking of all that stuff that's been going on, you know, these players have been through a grueling bit of a challenge for themselves, having to go through several different competitions in a regular season, playing through playoffs to get the seedings for the championship today. And today, they fight for glory. here in the UNCG Esports Arena. Speaking of all that, we would love to go ahead and take a look at our bracket system and see where everybody is placed and what we have in store for us today. Our first broadcast match that we're going to be having is going to be between the Patriots and the Spartans, but as you can see here, there are several other teams that are going to be competing here. North Brunswick, as said before, is our top seed and was able to win that division championship to secure themselves here, but all of these teams are going to be fighting out, trying to make their way all the way to the winners finals.
Yeah, it's a lot of great matchups here today. I'd like to highlight the Cab Tech and North Brunswick, as you mentioned. That was a great grand finals last couple weekends ago between these two teams. Those are two teams to look for sure. As you see, the Ascend, or SEA Tech High School and North High School Mafia get a first-round bye due to forfeits. But the rest of these matchups are going to be great.
Yeah, and of course, just because a team is eliminated here does not mean it's the end. As said there, losing teams will be advancing to an elimination bracket, as this is a double elimination tournament. For those that have not had this type of tournament before, whenever a team is knocked out or when a team advances, the team that they were able to beat will be taken to an elimination bracket where they will continue to compete and make their way back to meet at the grand finals. The winner of the main bracket and the elimination bracket will be meeting in the end for our final matchups that we'll be having. And I'm extremely excited about all of that, Instinct.
For sure. I mean, to look around and see all the emotion, all these players getting set up across from each other, being able to see your opponent face to face, and really you could stand up and look your opponent right in the eye. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of excitement here in the arena. I hope to see some really fun games today. There seems to be a big mix-up of whether that's ranks or just maybe even age. I mean, there might be some seniors or, you know, freshmen that come in, and but it's going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, I've seen some teams with some interesting decorations around themselves. We saw a couple of bananas walk by earlier that we're extremely excited to have here in the arena. But first, we need to focus on our first broadcast matchup, which is the Spartans versus the Patriots. Instinct, why don't you go ahead and give us some information about both these teams?
Both of these teams, highly offensive concept behind their play style. Both really high scoring throughout the regular season and the playoff bracket a couple weekends ago. Mind you, the Patriots B team had lost to the Spartans during, was it regular season?
During regular season.
So, as you know, Patriots might be, or Patriots A team may be out for blood here when it comes to beating these Spartans, but can the Spartans hold on and be able to prove the fact that they can beat both of these teams?
Yeah, both of those excellent points. As well, when these teams were placed into the playoffs, they were both closely seeded against each other in 10th and 11th seed. Both have very close rank matchups from what we saw, but both very aggressive, very high-scoring teams. We've seen a lot of the potential that they've shown here within the regular season and everything that we have there, and I'm super excited to see them play against each other. Going into thinking about the statistics with these teams, Instinct, if you had to choose between one of these two for our first broadcast match, who do you think is going to take it away?
Ooh, after looking at a few sheets and seeing these players go get ready for this matchup, few look nervous, but I believe the Spartans can bring it home in 4.
I can see that definitely. I'm personally going to be going for the Patriots. I do love that good blood in the water story, and I think that's something that we definitely need to be looking out for as we continue watching on to this tournament. You know, these teams do have a history with each other. They've been playing against each other both in a regular season and a playoff. They know each other. Some of these teams have been matched up, of course, and they're ready to go and compete against each other in this competition. One of the bigger things that I think we also need to highlight is that the team that does win this matchup will be advancing to the next broadcast match. And, you know, that's extremely important in multiple different ways. Of course, you're getting more coverage. You're getting to be seen here on the broadcast more. But also just the fact that you get to continue on and keep that advantage of being within the full bracket and the winner's bracket.
Sure.
You're able to get farther and you have a better seat. You don't have to go ahead and fall back. So, and what do you think about all that, Instinct?
I mean, like you said, I think it's a great opportunity for both of these teams. I mean, the only time you see a situation in most brackets where a team could play on back-to-back streams is after the losers final, when you see these teams like go through the lowers and they win the lowers, which would be on stream, and then the grand finals, which is also on stream. But to have this unique, I guess you could say, bracket setup to where both this round and the next round in this same stem would be broadcasted. I wonder if it makes them a little more nervous. Like, both of their first games could be on stream, and depending on how many times these teams have been on stream, it could work up the nerves a little bit. You know, starting this tournament out is 2 stream games back to back. I hope they can, I guess, get through the nerves factor of it. I mean,
Yeah, nerves are going to be a huge thing within this tournament, and something that we're always going to have to be watching out for. Also, again, you do have to recognize that this isn't just one game. This is more of a marathon, I feel. It's not a sprint. This is a best-of-5 system here. It's three players on both teams in a best-of-5 series, and in the later matchups, it becomes a best-of-7. That's a lot of games that you're going to have to play against against another team. You're going to have to adapt to the new strategies that they bring out for you. And if they decide to maybe do a substitution before the next round happens, you know, they're going to all have to deal with those types of things. I don't know if we'll be seeing that today, but speaking about what we could be seeing today, I wanted to go ahead into some broader predictions. Instinct, if you had to choose one thing that you absolutely want to see today from any of these teams during any of our broadcasts, what's it going to be?
Ooh. Reverse sweep in the grand finals.
Ooh. All right. Care to elaborate a little bit on that?
So for those at home who don't know what a reverse sweep is or how these brackets and best of however many work, so the best of 5s, of course, you need to win 3 games, whether that you win that 3-0, 3-1, or it goes to a game 5 where it is 3-2 series score. A reverse sweep is when one team gets off to a good start, a 2-0 lead, or in a best of 7, it would be a 3-0 lead, and the opponent of that team comes back and wins 4 straight or 3 straight in a best of 5. But in my case, with my prediction and hope to see reverse sweep in the game 7 of the grand finals, I kind of hope it goes into overtime too. That'd be pretty interesting. To just have one goal determine the entire tournament, really, and the entire day. I mean, as you said, the endurance that these teams are going to have, I think it's going to be a key factor. Of course, mechanics are up there. What you do, how you control the ball on the field, rotations, of course. How can you communicate with your team and rotate in an orderly fashion? But I think it's going to come down to endurance.
Yeah. I think endurance is definitely going to be one key factor. The thing that I want to see probably isn't actually something that we're going to be seeing in game, but just more in general in the arena itself. And that's a good level of sportsmanship and fun. I hope that all these players are having a great time here in the esports arena. You know, UNCG, just one of the top-ranked esports programs that we have here, and an absolutely amazing arena that's been built here. I've personally graduated from this university, and I came here a couple of days, played some Rocket League, played some Fortnite, which we'll be broadcasting tomorrow. We had a lot of fun with that. Would bring some friends in. We'd all meet up at the main battle station where these players are playing now. But of course, I want to just see everybody have fun, be respectful towards each other, and of course, most of all, show us some really good Rocket League.
For sure, for sure. I mean, as you said, this great facility, I haven't heard a bad comment yet at all. Everyone who's come in has been really appreciative of this amazing facility. I've even been, you know, as the coach of the UNCG Rocket League team, it's been a great help to us for having all of us in the arena playing together. It's really, you know, you won't have any internet issues playing from remotely, but it's a great opportunity for the school and for, you know, players who want to be in this type of environment later in the future.
Yeah.
So,
but I hear the engines revving. I hear the arena being set up. The spectators are taking to their seats. And we're getting ready for our first match here. Spartans versus Patriots in a best-of-5 first round of our full bracket. Which one is going to be able to take it away? Instinct, I'm extremely excited for what's going to be going on here. Of course, I'm ready to see these two players compete against each other and see what we can see from both of these teams. So I think it will take it away into our game and see exactly what they have to show for us. All right, game is going ahead and starting now. Kickoff, of course, in the first round. 5 minutes on the clock for each game. Gummy Bear here going ahead and applying some pressure on the corner, and Peyton going ahead and trying to take it away. But, of course, the Patriots are able to go ahead and score very quickly into the first round.
That's a very early score there. Looked like a bit of a mishap on the wall there from the Spartans, but hopefully they could bring it back. That was a good start for the Patriots here.
Yeah, I think it was a very strong start from the Patriots right off at the kickoff. However, I do think that the Spartans had a lot of potential there, bring the ball straight into the corner right off of the kickoff, but just lost that momentum just at the wrong moment and didn't have the defense set up. But great gameplay already at the very beginning of this championship.
Yeah, I think Spartans will be able to recover very well from that. I mean, like I said, it was just a minor mishap. They could definitely bring this back tons of time with the early goal. Almost a challenge.
Yeah, very close challenge there into the Spartans' goal. But, of course, great recovery by that team.
Yeah, they had the 3 in net there. Wasn't able to get the shot there, but looks like, I mean, we see already that the Patriots have been a very aggressive team.
Yes.
As far as offensive pressure. Nice. Ooh.
Oh,
What a save there by Subtraction.
Yeah, very good shot there from the Spartans into the Patriots, but the defense that was capable of from the Patriots was just able to keep the score at 1-0. And we're heading into a little past 4 minutes in the round. You know, these first minutes in the game I think are some of the most critical because it's the ones where you can add some really high pressure to teams, just like the Patriots were able to do there with another shot on goal.
Yeah, it was a great defensive hold there by the Patriots. It looked like Spartan had some pressure, a couple of good shots on net. They were able to make the saves, but good reverse attack, counter attack by the Patriots to get their second goal. About 3:30 left.
Yeah, it's a nice pinch there off of kickoff as well. For those that don't know or have never played Rocket League before, of course, this is a 3v3 game where players using cars are basically playing soccer against each other and trying to score goals just like the Patriots showed us there by using, of course, a mixture of speed and agility with the cars that they have set up and nice communication, which I think we saw there, a player being able to pass it into the center and just able to make that shot.
You could tell there was a lot of communication there. There was a perfect 3-man rotation from the Patriots. Like I said, they've had really good pressure this game, and it's showing off.
Yeah, I think the Spartans as well have had some really good pressure, but the Patriots' defense has also been shining through all of this. But, of course,
right as we talk about it.
Yeah, right as we talk about it, of course, the defense cannot be everything, and no wall is impenetrable. As we see here, the Spartans are able to just fly in and take that score for themselves.
It's a great, powerful shot there by Gummy Bear. Good pass.
Yes.
Upfield, or off the wall, I should say.
Going into another kickoff here. Subtract is able to go ahead and bring it in, put some pressure on the Spartan side, but the Spartans are able to respond back and send the ball back over. A good back and forth between both teams here. I'm seeing a lot of aggression between the two of them, but also a great mixture of defense as well. They're able to really capitalize on the moments that these players are keeping themselves vulnerable and open, able to stop a shot from happening, and then immediately apply that pressure to the other team so that they have to respond back.
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen a lot of great communication from these teams, too. As we saw just a few seconds ago, Subtract had called Mateo off of the ball. You know, he may have had a better touch or whatever it is. But, you know, we've seen great communication on, I think all 4 of these goals have been some type of pass play from the midfield to the edge, or, you know, edge to the midfield to get that powerful shot in. It's working really well for both of these teams so far.
Yeah, good save there also from Peyton, as we just saw, and a demo there. Now, so if your car has enough speed and you crash into a car of the enemy team, that is called a demo. It takes that player off the map for just a few moments and makes it a little easier for scores like this to happen, but with great defense, any team is able to stop that.
Yeah, we've seen great defense from the Patriots when Spartans have been able to hold that pressure. They just need to break through. They need to finish, you know. But other than that, it's been great pressure from both of these teams. Patriots have basically almost had a wall up for these Spartans so far.
Yeah, but the Spartans are going ahead and playing strong, trying to apply as much pressure as they can. Patriots now bringing the ball over to the Spartans' goal, but of course Spartans able to defend successfully and then apply that pressure right back to the Patriots side of the field. Couple of aerials here, players going ahead, jumping into the air, trying to keep the ball away from the goal, and some good defense here by Subtract. Now, Instinct, you said that you were the Rocket League coach here.
Yes.
I wanted to go ahead and see, in this last minute that we're going to have of gameplay, what do you think that the Spartans are going to have to do to apply more pressure onto the Patriots? What would you suggest if you were in this position?
I think they look for more demos. You know, the Patriots have had great defense in this first 4 minutes of this match, but the only way to counter that, a great defense, is to get that person that's in the net out. So look for demos, look for passes either upfield or across the field to your teammates to get those good shots and good timed demos from the Spartans.
Yeah, it looks like there was a good demo right there as we were just speaking about it. 40 seconds left on the clock, but pressure's still being applied by the Patriots. Spartans bringing the ball into the air as we watch Johnny go ahead and watch this ball elegantly fly and almost make a goal, but a nice save there from the Spartans.
Yeah, that was a close solo play there from the Patriots. You could see he had his teammates just kind of waiting to see what the Spartans are able to do. And we see another goal from the Patriots. Subtract gets it over the third man for a goal with 17 seconds left in this match.
Yeah, Subtract able to bounce the ball off of the ceiling there, and it just seems that, you know, the trajectory of this score was just not in the right place, not at the right time, and that happens, of course. But, you know, we're going into a final kickoff here, and we'll see if there's anything that the Spartans could do to take this first round.
Yeah, or even maybe just kind of get a goal to get some momentum back. You know, they might be a little down about the defense right now, but they're not totally out of this yet. As we said, this is a best-of-5 series. This is not a single-game elimination. So Spartans have a good chance to get back into this series as the game ends and Patriots take game 1.
Yeah, just game 1 here, though, in a best-of-5. It's not going to be over yet, and the Spartans definitely have a chance to bring it back. As we saw there was some excellent gameplay from both teams, and I'm extremely excited to see exactly what's going to be going on.
Yeah, and like I said, two very offensive-oriented teams, very aggressive. They have really great counterattacks on the other end of the field as well. And as we saw that game, you know, the Patriots had an amazing defense. They were able to hold that wall up for the Spartans. I think for the Spartans in this next coming match, they got to look for more demos. They got to hold pressure, and not only just the pressure, but you want it to be good pressure. You want it to get into the heads of the Patriots, you could say, to kind of break that wall down piece by piece and be able to score a couple more goals.
Yeah, and I definitely think that the Patriots are going to have to continue the momentum that they had from that first round. They're definitely going to have to continue going through and making sure that they keep the pressure on, because if they're not able to and they lose this next round, it may cause their momentum to waver a little bit.
There could be a shift.
Rocket League is all about speed, and of course, we're speeding right into the next game. Setting up the lobby now, getting the players in, and the engines are revving, and we'll go ahead and get started with our first kickoff. 5 minutes on the clock as we enter round 2 of match 1 here with the Patriots and the Spartans.
As I said, right off the start, Spartans had a quick start getting the ball down the field on kickoff, as they are right now as I speak. Johnny takes it to the corner, denied by Mateo. Good 50 there from Peyton. Let's see if they can keep that pressure up. It's been good for them the first 20 seconds here of the match.
Yeah, and it seems like the Spartans have been applying a lot more pressure this time and keeping that pressure on one side of the field. We saw a lot of back and forth the ball going from one end to the next end after one attempt shot, immediately a counter bringing it to the other end. But right now the Spartans have been keeping the pressure consistently on the Patriots, and I think that's a definite improvement and a definite change in the strategy that we saw from the first round.
For sure, and as we see, Peyton scores. I think it was Gummy Bear that got that touch mid. Great 50 there from him. And just as I said right before this match started, if the Spartans are able to get that pressure, get good 50s on the goal line, in which, for those who don't know, a 50 is when two cars meet at the ball at the same time and just kind of clash to fight it out to see who can get the possession.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different ways that happens, and I think we're actually currently seeing the Patriots taking the same approach that the Spartans had at the very beginning, almost getting a shot on goal there, but just unfortunately not the right place in the right time. But Subtract was able to maybe subtract another round from the Spartans there, evening up the score right at 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's a great series there from the Patriots. Right off kickoff, they were able to get the ball in the Spartans' half. Great passing play. They had good pressure for the 20 seconds that were played. let's see if both of these teams can keep up this style of play.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing about this is that during the first rounds, a lot of nerves are going to be going on here. Of course, we're in person. It's much different than playing against someone and seeing an All My Name. No, you can see a face to the person that you're playing against, and so the nerves are there. I think the pressure that these two teams are applying on each other is definitely aiding and maybe using those nerves as an advantage or a disadvantage for the teams and allowing them to go ahead and make these amazing plays that we're seeing now.
For sure. I mean, and again, not only being here in person, but there are a few games that aren't on stream. And, you know, being on a stream game, you keep that in the back of your head. Like, there's more people watching me than these other teams. So it could also affect the nerves. But as we see here, Spartans have been able to hold pressure here for a few seconds. They tend to keep it in here. Great clear there from the Patriots. Could be a counterattack.
Yeah, possibly a counterattack. Patriots going ahead and applying pressure to the Spartans side now and trying to set up for a goal. But of course, Spartans able to have that defense to disrupt all gameplay that the Patriots may have. Any strategies going through these players' heads, of course, you have to, it's like chess. You have to worry about the moves that your opponent is thinking of. How many moves ahead are you thinking and that you're calculating yourself out to? Just because you're thinking of something doesn't mean that you can execute it either, especially in a game like Rocket League.
Oh, for sure. It's the perfect blend of mechanics and what can you do with the ball, but also at the same time, banking off of what you said, Dante, that it is chess. It is a big mental game as much of it as just a video game in general. Like, you have to think about what you're doing. And as we get past the halfway mark here, been quite back and forth here. A lot of counterattacks from each team, good pressure from each team. There are periods from earlier in this game where a team has been holding a good amount of pressure, but the defenses are stepping up for both of these teams.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with us about to enter 2 minutes on the clock and an even score. I think both of these teams are starting to match each other. We're going to start to see some really extreme gameplay in order for them to be able to get the scores that they want, just like moves like that. But with a perfect defense, you can stop anything. Not only is Rocket League a very technical game, I also think it's quite a beautiful game as well, as you're able to design your car and add as many things as you want, including a score to the scoreboard that was done there by the Patriots.
Yeah, again, we see a good 50 earlier. We didn't catch it there in the replay, but there was a 50 midfield from the Patriots that was in their favor, and it's set up, subtract nicely, right place, right time. As you said, chess, you got to know where to be on the field. He was able to do that for that score.
Maybe a calculated play by the Patriots there, but of course, when you're dealing with subtraction, you got to know it's calculated. Anyway, back to the point I was making earlier about Rocket League being not only a technical game, but a visually impressive one. Instinct, I wanted to go ahead and ask you, if you had to choose one thing about Rocket League visually that you really enjoy, what would you have to pick?
I'd say, you got to say the cars, right? I mean, there's so many different designs, different cars with different styles. Like, not every car has the same hitbox. And what I mean is your car is able to make contact with the ball in certain ways depending on the shape of the car. And there's a couple different lineups, you could say, to have a different hitbox and strategy. That could also be used as a strategy, but overall, visually, I think it's decoration of cars. There's so many decals, there's so many different wheels, and just a lot you could do with that.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing some of those cars out on the field today. Players have been able to customize this experience to be their very own as we enter into the last 30 seconds of the match. Now, these players, of course, with all this being said, have probably made calculated choices about the cars that they've decided to bring here and to work together as a team. But one thing that I want to highlight real quick as well about Rocket League is the level of communication that is needed in this game to make shots like this one possibly work. Denials like that, of course, from the Patriots. But with the last 10 seconds appearing on the clock, what do you think needs to happen here, Instinct?
They need to keep this ball in the Patriots' half here. They did a great job with it at the start of around that 30-second mark, but, you know, it doesn't seem like they... Yep. So the Patriots take game 2. I think what Spartans have to do is they stepped it up this game for sure. They definitely stepped up on defense. They raised the wall for the Patriots a little bit. But I think the biggest thing is being able to hold that pressure. We see here even shots, almost even shots across the board. You see 7 shots on net from the Patriots and 6 from the Spartans. So a lot of even pressure, a lot of counterattacks. I think in that instance there that the Patriots just had more saves. They had their wall slightly higher than the Spartans. And I think if Spartans can keep that up and raise their wall like Patriots did in Game 2, I think they'll be able to bring this series back.
Yeah, and of course, to counter that, the Patriots may have to go ahead and do more aggressive plays and maybe things to get around the wall. You know, of course, when you're faced with a wall like that, there's other ways to get around, and there's other strategies that you can implement. So I think both of these teams are going to be sort of trying to outplay each other, try to calc each other out as best they can. And the fact that these are high schoolers that are playing against each other, it's absolutely amazing to see them doing this type of gameplay. But, of course, we're getting ready for Game 3 here, so let's go ahead on over to the field and see what these guys have in store for us. Kickoff in 1 second, going ahead and starting 5 minutes on the clock. Patriots on the Patriots side, going ahead and having some nice defense to apply pressure back over to the Spartans. And of course, we have a play there by Fantasies trying to send it over, but unfortunately not able to successfully make a shot.
Some great pass plays there early on from the Patriots, right off kickoff. You kind of called it out. You said they need to come into this game and be a little more aggressive, use their offense as their defense on the back end. And they've done that in this first 30 seconds of this game.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Keeping pressure on the enemy team means that they're not going to have as many times to have attempted shots against you. And if you're leading a series, I think just keeping your opponent from having more opportunities to even it up, that's the best strategy that you can have. But we're also seeing a lot of nice saves here from both teams. You know, when pressure is being sent on their side of the field, there's a nice bit of defense, or at least one or two players by net to be able to stop that type of gameplay.
For sure. There's been a lot of great shots from both of these teams. As we see, Fantasies is able to slip it by Spartans' third man to get their first goal in this Game 3. And Spartans have kind of, like I said, that the Patriots have been doing. They've been using their offense as their defense. I think if Spartans can do that throughout the rest of this game, then they can bring this series back.
I would also love to break down that Fantasy was looking the opposite direction of the ball, was actually having the ball right behind them, and was just able to perfectly 180 in order to get that shot. That's a nice fake out there, and able to get maybe into the heads of the players being like, oh, this player's running away to go get boosted. Oh, wait, no, they're making an attempted shot. You're not able to calculate that fast or react to those types of things if you're not in the right position.
Yeah. Again, and that goes back to playing this game like chess. You know, use what you know can get into the other players' heads to make them think you're doing something that you're not, fake out the ball. It looks like it's going to be a goal for Spartans here. That's a great counterattack. It looks as if the Patriots got caught holding a little too much pressure, didn't have anybody on the back end.
Yeah, and I definitely think that the Spartans saw that and were able to calc it out and be able to say, oh, hey, there's an open net there. Let's go ahead and try to make an attempted shot. And of course, those players were there at the right moment and the right time. Payton going ahead, and we're watching their point of view as they try to defend and keep the pressure over on the Patriot side. Gummy Bear going for an aerial, and
great 50.
A very good matchup there, able to bring the ball into the air and just drop it right into the net, just like a phantom in the night, and able to drop it in.
Yeah, it's a great shot coming from Gummy Bear there. He air dribbled the ball, in which you jump and keep the ball on the tip of your car in the air. He was able to do that and take the 50 against the Patriots. The Patriots didn't have enough oomph to, hold the ball back, keep it out of their net. But hopefully they can attack back in this last 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think these next 3 minutes are going to be very key, as this is one of the few times that the Spartans have been in the lead compared to the Patriots. So the Patriots have been mostly in the lead for most of these matchups, but how are they going to respond now, being the ones that need to catch up to keep the series alive?
Yeah, and I think they got to go back to their earlier strategy in the first two games of this series, in which they, again, used that offense as their defense, but right as we say something, Fantasies finds a way to slip it in.
Yeah, and I think Fantasy was definitely thinking there. Of course, another calculated play by Subtract, and good passes by all these teams here. Nice contest between everyone, and Fantasy playing there in the back, seeing this is my opportunity, and swooping in and making that play.
Yeah, that was a great pass from the sidewall there to get that ball mid. It seemed as if it kind of threw the Spartans off a little bit. Maybe they didn't expect the pass mid early enough, but Patriots are back in this game with 2:30 left.
Yeah, and I think it is good for us to note what does happen in Rocket League when the score is tied up. Well, the game doesn't just end in a tie. No, nobody could have that. All these all these little colorful bits in the stands wouldn't be able to stand that. So we actually go into an overtime where the teams have one more chance to make one more goal, and whichever team is able to make it goes ahead and takes the victory there. Similar to, I believe, actual soccer in that respect.
I believe so, and a great 50 from the Spartans there on the goal line to get them the lead in this Game 3. We could see what I kind of hoped for in the first game here. I mean, the Spartans look really good this game. They've had it great on defense, and they've obviously kept enough offensive pressure to win games. So could they do that for the rest of this series and maybe pose a reverse sweep in the first game of the day?
Yeah, it's extremely possible that's extremely a possibility, is what I'm trying to say. Fantasy going ahead and trying to apply some pressure here onto the Spartans' goal to go ahead and tie up the series, and of course Subtract able to sit there and be able to clean up the work and do what Fantasy was not able to do.
Yeah, that was a really good touch by Mateo there. I think it caught the Spartans a little awkward when it bounced off the post. Maybe they didn't expect it to bounce that way. But again, Subtract in the right place at the right time to finish off and tie up this game with minute 45 left.
I do keep making the joke that this is an extremely calculated game, but you know, when you really do think about it, there is a lot of math going on here. Players are having to basically calc in their head how they believe the ball is going to be and what percentage of error there may be there. This is just one of the many ways that I believe that esports and video games as a whole can be almost used as like a learning tool. Maybe even have people, you know, have problems that they have to solve or things that they need to think about. And it can be used as a great way for, you know, academics like us to look at new problems.
For sure. It really helps with hand-eye coordination. Like you said, I mean, this game alone, and there's many more in the esports field, but this game alone requires you to kind of predict and see what's going to happen and move your car to that spot. And right as we were discussing that, Gummy Bear, great 50 to finish off. No, the 50, sorry, came from Peyton, and Gummy Bear was able to finish off the goal to take the lead with only a minute left.
Yeah, we weren't able to predict that that would be happening in the middle of your sentence, but it was an absolutely beautiful goal. But some good defense as well by the Patriots there as well. This has been a very close game overall, with just a few matchups being the deciding factors here for where we're at score-wise in this last minute. And of course, we saw there the Patriots were able to try to make another shot and make another great defense. Spartans, of course, trying to show as much as they can within these final 30 seconds. A good aerial attempt there by Gummy Bear, which is able to successfully get through, even though it was interrupted by the Patriots.
Yeah, that's a great solo play there by Gummy Bear, but that's not where it all started. It started on that back half of the Spartans field where they were able to fend off the shots from the Patriots. I think there were 2 saves in a row and also a demo from the Spartans to start that counterattack. And Gummy Bear, of course, up in the air dribbling. It's really fun to see solo plays in this game.
Yeah, now entering the last 30 seconds of gameplay, you know, what do these teams have to do here? What do you think the Patriots are going to have to do in these last 30 seconds to close out the series?
I mean, it's got to be straight pressure. They got to get it out of the half. I think Spartans aren't really allowing that, though, as they continue to clear the ball into the Patriots half here. 10 seconds remaining. Maybe Patriots can get a goal here just for a momentum shift. Like, you know, they've won the first 2 games, and, you know, they come into this game, and it's not looking like as they take it and finish the series here. So Spartans do win game 3, and what Patriots got to do is I think they have to go back to their game 1 and 2 strategies of being the aggressive, not letting them get. I mean, I saw Gummy Bear have a couple solo plays that game. If they can shut that down immediately, I think they have a good chance to close out the series in 4.
Yeah, I do think that the Spartans have now are starting their comeback arc. They're making their way back and using new strategies and new ways to play the game in order to trip up the Patriots a little bit. But the Patriots are still being calculated and still being able to defend against these strategies. I definitely think that they're showing a lot of their skills here for all the people here in the arena. Speaking of the arena, of course, I can hear a lot of sound from a lot of different matches here. There's so much excitement here, and I'm so ready to see what these teams have to show for us.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how these the rest of the games, you know, turn out. Who kind of moves on, who goes it down into the lower bracket. Which, again, there's still an opportunity for the teams that go into the lower bracket, as you know, you fight through the lower bracket and get to that spot in the grand finals. But yeah, looking around, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of players, a lot of smiles, and you know, the coaches are happy. It's a really cool environment here.
I've seen a couple of coaches just doing little fist bumps, looking at their players high-fiving each other, and of course, against even their own opponents, shaking hands, fist bumps, showing that respect and that sportsmanship, which is what we absolutely love inside of the arena. As you're seeing there, a big wide shot of everybody and all the excitement that's going on here as we go ahead and head into the next game.
Great start here from the Patriots. An amazing start here from the Patriots. They immediately switched back to the strategy of their early few games, and they got a good kickoff win. Great pass there. Fantasy is able to finish it off. I don't know what to say. 6 seconds in. What do you do?
I definitely think that was a great example of good communications between the players. As if Fantasy didn't know that that ball was falling that way, like, there's no way for them to really know from the position they're at. But their teammate up above, they're able to calculate that out. They have a better field to go ahead and see all that and able to say, hey, look, ball's coming towards your way. Can you make a shot? Able to do that and execute and get that first point and add that pressure back to the Spartans.
Yeah, they certainly did that in that first 6 seconds. But as we see, Spartans bite back and find their way in the top right corner of the net. That's a great shot from Peyton there. Great pass across the field. Another good example of communication. And I think the biggest thing for these two teams is who has the better communication, who can communicate the other team's positioning better than the team that they're on.
Yeah, and I do think we need to also look at the factor that the Patriots are up 2 games and the Spartans have only won 1. So the Spartans, just like we're seeing here, are going to try to score as best they can and even up the score to take it into a 5th game. They want to take that pressure off of their backs and be able to play a more relaxed Game 5. Even though it's going to decide the series, they're going to be able to play a little less aggressive, maybe play a little more calculated as well. And I think the Patriots, on the other hand, are currently in a moment of, oh, we let a game slip by. We now need to go ahead and be the aggressors. We need to take control, and we need to keep the score on the map. But the Spartans are trying to keep that from happening.
For sure. And after the 2 first games going to the Patriots, the Spartans know that they can't lose, right? They have to finish out this series in a strong manner. As we see, they've done well this game, but Patriots, Subtract, getting back into it, couldn't get the save, but great play by Subtract.
As we saw there before as well, Gummy Bear was on the trail of Subtract during that entire aerial dribble and was trying to go ahead and get through and keep that shot from going on goal, but just wasn't there at the right moment in time. That's really the only reason that shot was able to make it, other than, of course, the skill that these amazing players have.
For sure, and we just passed the 1 minute mark in this Game 4 here, and already 4 goals. I mean, how higher can this go with these two teams' aggressiveness and offensive-oriented play style? I mean, it's just counterattack after counterattack, but who can have the stronger defense at the end of the game?
Yeah, I also think that it's good to know that we've also been seeing a lot of saves. We've been seeing a lot of moments of just teams keeping the ball out of net or being there at the right place in the right time to be able to count that out and keep a score from happening. We'd see a larger scoring game, I feel, if these players were playing all offense. But we're also seeing a healthy mix of defense in there as well, as we see shots like that being disrupted by the Spartans.
For sure, and to bank off of what you continue to say about calculating the, field and the other team's moves, I think that's going to be the biggest factor to finish off the second half of this game. But the only goals I've seen that have been scored have been, maybe just a mishap in rotations or, the net was kind of open due to a demo. But can they continue to do that? Obviously they can.
Yeah, obviously they can, with the Patriots going ahead and getting another score there. Let's go ahead and watch the recap. As Peyton is trying to get the ball away from net, Subtract is able to pinch it and send it towards the goal, and just that is able to get the ball in and go ahead and put the Patriots in the lead now.
Again, and I think Subtract was reading my mind a little bit there. I was just going to mention as he scored that the positioning on the field, who can calculate the other team better. Looking like Patriots now. 2 quick goals back-to-back right before this halftime mark. And Fantasies, great pass from Subtract. Another good demo. That's a great team play.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great moment there by both teams, really. Good pressure right there at the kickoff, but of course the Patriots able to take control and go, all right, we know what we need to do, having some great communication, able to pass the ball towards Spartans and put that added pressure on them. And again, we have to remember, Spartans are just 1 loss away from being taken down to the elimination bracket. And, you know, the pressure that's on them for that, as I mentioned before, can be a lot. They're trying to get that pressure off them, which is why they'll be trying to make scores just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect example, and we saw it in Game 3. You know, the pressure after Game 2 is on them, solely on them. Patriots have a cushion. Spartans, you know, see some of the faces of the players. You know, it's a little stressing a bit. You know, being down 1 goal in this Game 4, possibly on the brink of going down to the lower bracket. They're not out of it yet, though. 2 minutes, 1 goal to tie, 2 to win. It's definitely doable for the Spartans. We saw it in Game 3.
Yeah, and I think we were about to see it right there, but Subtract was able to calculate everything that's going on once again and was able to defend it all over again. Gummy Bears' perspective here that we're watching as they go ahead and go around getting some more boost. As you see, there's these little orange pads or orange balls on the field. That's boost. They're basically the rockets of Rocket League, allowing these players to play at higher speeds. And sort of think of it as if you added a rocket on the back of your own car. It's also a little harder to control.
Yeah, it's also a big thing, of course, for getting your car in the air and being able to hit the ball, even if it's not on the ground. It's a great resource, and you can be really good at getting the boost because it's very essential in this game, especially at the level that these two teams are playing. As we see, a great pass from Mateo to Subtract, and Subtract used his boost management there to get up in the air to get a good, solid shot on net. Unfortunately, Gummy Bear could not reach it. Spartans still have a chance with about 1:15 left to go in this game. What do you think the Spartans need to do to bring this back?
I think it needs to be more applied pressure onto the Patriots. You know, we've been seeing a nice like back and forth, but there just needs to be more pressure on the Patriots side of things. You know, they were able to take that one moment the Spartans had just lost pressure and the Patriots were able to score that goal. You know, they just need to stop allowing them to get that pressure, keep as much of it as they can on the Patriots side of things. You know, no goals are better than 1 or 2 goals from your enemy, but right now the Spartans need to score points because if they don't, then this series will sadly be over.
For sure, and I think for this remaining 40 seconds in this Game 4, I think it's highly essential for Spartans to take control of the boost. If they have higher boost control than the Patriots, they're able to do more with the ball, more mobile. You can get it around players using this boost. And if they can do that, I think in this last 20 seconds that they can bring this back.
Good save there by Gummy Bear and some really good defense being shown by the Spartans, but unfortunately, defense is not going to determine this game right now. Spartans doing everything that they can to apply pressure off of their side, but the Patriots doing a really good job of showing that offense we've been constantly keying into. And I think we're going to be seeing a good end to the series between the Patriots and the Spartans, with the Patriots coming out on top in this first round.
Yeah, I think it's a great show out by the Patriots here. They showed that not only they have, I mean, we've seen the stats, you know, the sheets coming into this tournament, and the Patriots have been a highly aggressive team on offense, but they also showed that in this series alone that they can have good defense, and against the Spartans team, also a very aggressive team. You know, as you see, they've had 6 shots. I think they averaged maybe 7 or 8 on the series per game, but they're an aggressive team as well, and the Patriots did show off their defense in that series, being able to hold them off and winning the series in 4.
Yeah, and I definitely think we were seeing some great things from the Spartans as well. They showed great defense, great offense, great communication as well with some really excellent passes. And of course, we're seeing here some fist bumps between the two teams, some great respect between all of our players. We've still got some competitions going on, but let's continue to talk about this. If you had to choose a moment out of that entire match, if you had any comments that you really wanted to make, you know, best moment, best shining moment out of that game, what would you have to say?
I'd say it's going to be kind of broad response, but I'd say the pass plays. We saw a lot of pass plays, great communication from both of these teams in that series, and it wasn't all Patriots. Spartans had an amazing Game 3 to almost bring it back in the series. A lot of good passing plays, communication, boost control. It's really exciting to see these players play at this type of level and be able to still compete against each other, whether they're on stream, at a LAN, maybe even their first LAN.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think personally, for me, it has to be the aerial play. I definitely think that both of these teams showed really shining aerial play, keeping the ball, dribble it in the air, and able to sort of outplay their opponents when they were able to get there. Gummy Bear was a really shining figure there, in my opinion, able to get at least 2 aerial dribble goals that we were able to recap and see. and of course, showing us just all what these players have to offer when they're here in the arena.
For sure. And, you know, Spartans showed that series that I really believe that they are not done yet. They go into lowers, and I think they will make a very good run in the lowers. I mean, they showed, like you said, the aerial plays from Lumi Barrett. You see those type of plays, and it's like, it's really hard to defend a team that can do things like that, because if you get the ball in the air and you're able as, you know, only yourself get the ball over 2 players, it's a 3v1.
Yeah, we absolutely have to be thinking about the future of these players. Again, double elimination. It's not over for the Spartans yet. And the Patriots have another game after this that they're going to have to worry about with even more added pressure as they enter into the on stream
again. So, but it's definitely going to be an exciting tournament for both of these teams. I think a lot of other matches are finishing up as well. I'm excited to see how those turned out, you know, how the players played, how they felt really, because like you said, it's a great environment here, really a lot of exciting emotions. Like you said, the fist bumps from the other teams. You can't do that stuff remotely. Or even just the simple things like, you know, your teammate scores or you get a good pass to them, you know, just fist bump it to the side. It's a really great environment here.
Yeah, I absolutely love the LAN atmosphere of everything, getting to see your opponent in front of you, and maybe even after a game, you know, talk it out, say like, hey, you did this really good thing in the game, or hey, you did this, hey, do you have any pointers about this certain strategy? You did this thing, I've never done that before, could you show me how to do it? That's the type of things that you can get from these LAN experiences. The coaches as well are going to have a great networking opportunity here to be able to talk to even more teams and maybe even create, you know, their own LAN events and their own setups. You know, that's the type of stuff that we're really hoping to, you know, cultivate and grow here at UNCG.
Yeah, you definitely read my mind there. I was just going to mention something about the, you know, banking off of what I mentioned about the environment here at the esports arena, but the fact that you can have your coach right behind you, you know, and I believe they have a headset on too, I think, where they're able to communicate in between games with their team, like, hey, you might want to fix this, or we should try to rotate more like this, or just completely switch playstyles in general. It's a really good tool to have, you know, standing right behind you. So, but as I said, I don't think it's over for the Spartans at all. I think they're going to make a really good run in the lower bracket, as well as, of course, we will see Patriots again in the next game against, I want to say, what was it, SEA Tech that had that first round bye due to an FF, but I think that's going to be a very exciting series as well.
Yeah, and I definitely think that we're going to be watching to see if the Patriots are able to continue that momentum forward, able to continue what they have on them currently, and see if they can bring it into that next broadcast match, because if they do, that's a really shining award for them, even if they don't make it all the way to the end. Hey, they won 2 broadcasted matches.
Back to back.
That's really good,
Yes.
and people are going to be looking out for that. Looking again at the whole networking thing, there's of course spectators and live people here that are watching the action inside of the arena, and I hope they're all having a wonderful time watching the amazing gameplay that these players are highlighting for them.
It seems like they are. Just from what I could see, I see that I think all the spectating seats are actually filled, and there are people standing behind watching these games. It's really good to see, whether it's parents or friends and other family members. It's really good to see the support for these players and coming to this event, taking up really their entire Saturday to be here supporting the players. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and you know, when I was a kid, I didn't have these types of experiences. When I was in high school, this wasn't really a thing. These types of facilities didn't exist. But now that we're at this point in time, you know, us as like the older generation, that sends a shiver down my spine just to say it, but you know, we can cultivate and grow these people and give them an environment where they can feel welcome, where they can meet new people, and they can have these amazing experiences. Another thing that I think UNCG offers that we definitely need to highlight about all of this esports stuff is the new curriculum that's coming out. A whole minor is being created as well for esports and academia, looking at the social media marketing, looking at, you know, the production of video games, looking at the cultural and even psychological exploration, you know, similar to theater or movies or books. You know, video games have traveled against some really, you know, sometimes controversial topics, but, you know, have really looked into what it means to be human and what it means to be someone here and what the human connection is. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that places like UNCG are trying to explore that and give that opportunity to not only people on their campus, but to people who come and visit, just like these high schools.
For sure. And as you mentioned, this wasn't a thing, like, even not too long ago. It really wasn't a thing until maybe a few years ago. And the growth that it's had since it, became, I guess you could say, big. I mean, there's a pro league for esports like this, other esports. But you see the growth, and as you mentioned, the minor that we have here in esports management. I mean, the professors that we work with to get this type of event set up and stuff like that. But I believe in the next few years it's going to turn into a major where you can fully commit your degree to esports management, or things just relating to esports in general. It's a very big field.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be looking at some behind the scenes as well of all the stuff that had to happen in order for all of this to happen, for these players to have this amazing experience. I think we've got a video package ready for that. So we're going to go ahead and get that set up. But, you were here for part of it. Could you speak on maybe some personal experiences that you had?
It was a great experience to be here and kind of going over with everybody. Hey, how are we going to do this? When so-so gets here, how are we going to, and it's been really great, well organized. The players come in, they get a little goodie bag with a few UNCG things and a lanyard that they get to wear for the entire thing, with the tournament title on it and their name. So it's really exciting the way that this tournament was set up, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
we personally have been putting in a lot of work, but there's been so many other people that have been putting in this work, and, it's a little tiring at times, but
For sure.
We've been doing a great job at it, and we'd love to show the people at home all about that. So we're going to show you a video package with all that information. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Hurricane Dante in the UNCG Esports Arena. We're getting ready for the UNCG SEA Spartan Championship, and we wanted to give you a look behind the scenes at all the different stuff that has to go on to make this amazing event happen. So, why don't you follow me? This is our main battle stage in the UNCG Esports Arena, where nearly 90 competitors in both Fortnite and Rocket League will be competing in a LAN-style tournament, and we're so excited to have them here. This is our observer station, where we'll be having 6 individuals watch over the gameplay proceedings and send it over to broadcast. We're going to be taking a look at our broadcast team, getting a bunch of assets ready in both Unreal Engine and other programs. They're trying to make sure that the feed there at home for you guys is the best that it can possibly be. Over here on the other end, we have our tournament operations team, which is trying to make sure that the teams, coaches, and players all have an enjoyable experience while they're here at this LAN tournament. And here at the UNCG casting desk, me and other talented casters will be breaking down all the details of the gameplay you'll be watching over the weekend. Friends, families, and live spectators will be outside here watching on these LED panels the live proceedings inside of the arena. But if you at home want to do the exact same thing, you can tune in at twitch.tv/UNCG_esports. That's twitch.tv/UNCG_esports. It's like deja vu watching myself break down all of the amazing things that our staff has been able to do to make this event possible. Just a few of the locations that we looked at there: the observer's room, of course, making sure that all the proceedings that you're watching at home are set up and make sure that everything's going peachy and clean. Our broadcast team going ahead and bringing the feed to y'all at home and giving you these amazing graphics, this amazing camera and stuff that you're seeing now, that video package that was created, of course. Our tournament operations team making sure that the players and the coaches are having a great time here and just making sure that everything runs smoothly, and so much more. And of course, us broadcasters sitting here at the desk going ahead and analyzing and breaking down all of the gameplay for you.
For sure. And like you said, we were here yesterday working out a bunch of stuff, getting set up for this big tournament. And that was the actually first time I've seen any of those, like, that technology back there. And it's really amazing what they've been able to do and accomplish for this tournament specifically.
Yeah, and in order for us to get all that prepared, we need a little more time to get these setups made and to get the players into their stations. So we're going to run into a quick break so that we can get all the players set up for the next round, and we'll see you in just a few moments. And welcome back. We went ahead and gave our teams a little bit of extra time to go ahead and get set up. And we needed that little bit of a break time ourselves as casters. You know, it can get hot up here, of course, but,
sure.
you know, we're ready to see the absolutely electric action between the Patriots and another team that we'll announce in a second, because we're going to go ahead and look at the bracket here in a second. Got any predictions for what you're planning to see in the bracket?
I hope that North Brunswick went through.
Which we're seeing right here.
Yes.
North Brunswick is going to be going against SeaTech, and the Mafia is going to be going against the Patriots. And in our lower area, we're seeing CabTech versus Noble, and we're going ahead and seeing Beacon there against a team that I cannot read on my screen.
Well, one thing that I noticed from this first round, there weren't any Game 5s. There were no Game 5s throughout the first round. It was 3-0, 3-1, all across the board. We see CabTech, our 2 seed that we saw a couple weeks ago, fall short to North Brunswick, who also got a sweep in the first round. Both of those teams are very electric teams. It was nice to see them play together in the grand finals a couple weeks ago of the qualifier tournament. And also, we have Mafia and the Patriots game on stream, and Mafia has chemistry with both of the top 2 teams coming into this bracket as far as playing against them, doing well against them, and that could be used against this Patriots team because we know that they're a very solid all-around team.
Yeah, but we've also seen the Patriots play and saw what they were able to show us in that first match on the stream. You know, that added pressure is going to be there. You know, they may use it actually as fuel for their fire to go ahead and make their way through this broadcast, and maybe even switch up their strategy. You know, since it was on broadcast, if the other team got done early, you know, maybe they were watching. We do not know. I don't know if that's against the rules or not. I think it is. But of course, you're going to see the Patriots try to maybe switch up their strategy anyway, just to throw the team off. You know, again,
sure.
Game of chess, mental games, and of course, you're going to try to do your best to go ahead and win through this series. So let's go ahead into some really quick predictions. Instinct, who you think's coming out on top here and why?
Ooh. I think now, I'm not sure what could happen in the rest of round 2, but I can see this game, and I really think it will go to 5. We see an aggressive team from the Patriots and a very well-rounded team from Mafia. I think it's got great potential to go to a Game 5, possibly even Game 5 OT. I'm taking Mafia in 5.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue with the Patriots here for a bit. I think they showed a great showing during that first broadcast match, and I think they're definitely going to show more of that as we continue forward. The Patriots, of course, showing all around really good offense and really good defense as well. But is it going to be enough for the Mafia? I mean, looking at them being able to compete very well against both CabTech and North Brunswick, which were our 2 for the divisional finals, you know, it's a lot to really think about.
For sure. And how can the Patriots change their strategy? What will they turn to in if their first strategy doesn't work, like that offensive heavy team, and if that doesn't work, what could they turn to? Could they turn to a more defensive, a more smarter team, less aggressive? They're playing better touches to each other. As we see the two teams reach across and fist bump each other now, that's always really good to see.
Yeah, amazing.
Can only see it at a LAN though. You know, the remote play, it's just not as exciting of an environment as this. But as I was saying, Patriots, what do they look to if they can't play the aggressive strategy? Do they go demos? Do they go logical pass plays, midfield, upfield, whatever it may be? I hope that they could find a good strategy that works for them to make it a very competitive series.
Yeah, and what do the Mafia go into this thinking about? You know, what are they putting into their playbook? Are they going to try to maybe focus on breaking down the defense, breaking down the offense, maybe more counterattacks, maybe work on their aerial, maybe show us something there? But who knows? We'll only know once we get inside of the game. So we're getting everything set up here. We're still waiting on a few players to get into the lobby. So while we're doing that, let's talk a little more about the arena for a bit. Again, all of this isn't possible. This whole electric atmosphere that we have isn't possible without the UNCG Esports Arena.
For sure. I mean, it's a really great facility. And as I said, as the coach of one of the esports teams here, it's been really beneficial to us to have that stability and be able to sit next to each other. And I don't think we've held a LAN specifically for our Rocket League team here quite yet. I hope to see that in the next, couple semesters. But when it does happen, as I've said before, it's a very fun environment, whether...
Yeah, I'm absolutely ready to see these teams go against each other and show this atmosphere. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the game, have those engines revving and that ball placed in the middle so we can go straight into kickoff between the Mafia and the Patriots.
Yeah, it seems to be a good matchup. As I said, I hope it goes to 5. I think starting now that it will go to 5, maybe even OT. It'd be really fun to see that.
Yeah, and I think if any team is going to have this potential of, going between these two and watching what we're going to be seeing of these two teams communicating with each other and, the strategies that they're going to implement, I think it's these two teams that are going to take us all the way to a best of 5, into an overtime, and maybe even get that prediction that you had at the very beginning, something that you want to see. Waiting for the players currently to load into the lobby and hearing the atmosphere of the arena is a little bit overwhelming at certain moments in time.
For sure. One thing I think is good to look for here in this series specifically is Patriots have been on stream. They were just on stream not even 15 minutes ago. Mafia is being on stream for the first time today. How can that affect the nerves, really?
Yeah, going into kickoff here now. Very good kickoff there for Mafia, putting some pressure on the Patriots side. And a very early goal attempt, but Patriots able to defend twice there in a row.
Yeah, really good on the Patriots there. The Mafia started out a very aggressive kickoff. Great in their favor. Immediate 2 really good, powerful shots. The second one just couldn't connect. The first one, great save from the Patriots. It seems as if they've already started with that defensive play style, because of the circumstance. I mean, Mafia came out firing.
Yes, and I'm wondering if we're going to see some repeat performances from Subtraction and Fantasy and see what they actually have to offer us here, and maybe even see some more highlights from Mateo and see what they have to offer for the team. Again, Patriots have been on the stream before. They've had that pressure, those first jitters of being on a live stream, those are already gone and they're ready to play, but how's the Mafia going to get affected by that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The nerves are definitely a thing here so far, as we see a few mishaps from both teams here. One thing I have noticed is this has been a bump-heavy game through this first minute. Mafia has come out knowing that they could get these bumps, get them out of position, and put good shots on net. Patriots holding on that, keeping that wall up, being able to hold on so far through this game. Close touch there from Subtract. It looked like he tried to get that mid. I think a thing to look for on the Patriots offense here is that Mateo Subtract connection that we saw against the last series.
But there's one player that we can't forget about, and that's Fantasy, as we go ahead and watch this recap. Ball being placed into corner, a good defense by the Mafia, but Fantasy able to see that moment like we saw in the broadcast before and just bring their way in and get that lucky shot.
For sure, and right as I say about the Mateo and Subtract connection, Fantasies proves me wrong. Seems like I had to nudge him a little bit. Completely proved me wrong. Put a great shot bottom right corner of the net. And how will Mafia react to this? It seems like they can't react quick enough. Fantasies gets another goal, just completely contradicting what I've said about him so far. I mean, he seems to have a very offensive side so far in this game.
Yeah, and of course, we're seeing that because of the connection that these players have. We talked about the Subtraction and Mateo connection, but we also have to understand that Fantasy's in the middle of all that as well, playing as a nice glue between the two. Being able to play with both of those teammates and working on that communication and having that pass potential makes Fantasy a really good pick here to be the lead offensive against a team that we know is going to be strong, like Mafia, who has played against, of course, our first seed here in the from the playoffs.
For sure, and you see there was a good attempted solo play there by Fantasies. He's trying to make plays with the ball. He is making plays with the ball on offense. As you said, he's the glue between the two really strong aggressors on this team. How can Mafia react to this? How can they get back into this game as we approach the halfway mark? I think that's, they gotta come out firing a little harder. As I say that, Subtracting makes a good connection with Fantasies at the midfield line to put a great shot on net.
I think it shows the weakness of firing a little bit harder, as well as you may leave your defense open. And I think they're showing that, and maybe even doing this type of play and taking this moment that they have to kind of show these players like, hey, you do need to be more aggressive on us, but you can't be too aggressive.
Sure.
If you leave that net open, I'm going to take that opportunity.
Oh, 100%. And they took it there for their third goal. Passing the halfway mark here, we see an aggressive Mafia team right after kickoff, kind of a glimpse of what happened earlier in the game after the first kickoff. Again, great counterattack here from the Patriots. Good bang downfield for the Patriots, and a quick counter by Mafia. Great 50 to the midfield. Can they capitalize? And they do. Goated midfield for the pass. Right place, right time, able to score.
Yeah, Goated making an excellent play there and highlighting one of the big things that the Mafia has been able to do, which is apply a huge amount of pressure to the Patriots. Whenever pressure is placed on the Patriots side of the field, it's always been right at the goal and very fast. Now, the Patriots do have a defense to be able to counter against that, but of course, if they're not all there, or if something is wrong at the wrong place, the wrong time, things like this can happen where the Mafia is able to score another point from Encrypted.
For sure, and again, an aggressive kickoff strat here from Mafia to get the ball in early control. Great solo play by Equipped Savage. Bit of an air dribble there to get it over two defenders and really put themselves back into this game. They started off to an 0-3 deficit against this aggressive Patriots team, but have been able to bring it back right around the 2-minute mark. This game is very winnable for either team here.
Yeah, a little under 2 minutes on the clock. We're seeing a little bit of aerial play, both from Encrypted and Fantasy here, as Fantasy goes ahead and tries to apply more pressure on Mafia's goal. Encrypted, of course, seeing this and trying to place the pressure back once again, playing a bit of a counterattack. But of course, the Patriots are able to respond. Subtraction going ahead over towards goal, playing towards corner to get some more boost. And the Mafia taking this opportunity to put pressure back on. It's this ping pong effect that we're seeing here. Less of a game of soccer, more like a game of ping pong. Feels like I'm playing the Atari again.
For sure. I mean, you see great counterattacks from both of these teams at this getting close to that 1 minute mark. Mafia is still down one. They need to find a way to be able to get past that really good Patriots defense we saw in the last series. I think they could be able to do that. They get some pressure. As you said, the ping pong effect, it's kind of going back and forth. All it takes is one slight mishap from the Patriots in the wrong rotation of that back and forth, and it could lead to a goal tying the game. Great demo on the goal line there. Solo play from Encrypted, doesn't quite connect. Good bang out for the Patriots there.
Yeah, and unfortunately that demo seemed to have been a double demo, which means that both teams are still in the same space, but instead of having 3 players on the board, both of them have 2 players on the board. Now, of course, it's only for a few seconds, but those seconds can matter, and when you're able to demo with just one team being down, you can take that and use it to your advantage. I really would have loved to seen the Mafia be able to do that, but I think just the Patriots were able to calc it out and be able to have that nice defense. But of course, great defense comes with great offense, and Subtraction comes in and goes ahead and makes an amazing shot.
For sure. Great connection with him and Fantasies again. That was a great pass from Fantasies. Was able to get it off the post just behind Mafia's third man in net. And I think that may close out this game. They've had great pressure all game, and it doesn't seem as if they've been able to hold on as well as the Patriots have on defense. That might bring a close to game 1, but how can Mafia react to this? They know that the Patriots are having an aggressive play style. We thought before the game they might change that up. They decided not to, and it's worked well for them in game 1.
Yeah, I think that by looking at that, you can continue to watch and see, what's going on here. Maybe they'll continue the same strategy again going into the next round, use this advantage that they already have, and, of course, taking out that unneeded pressure from the broadcast. But I think from what we've seen of the Mafia through the score sheet, I think they'll be able to bounce back, maybe even this up and take that pressure off of them and not allow the Patriots to go ahead and have an advantage here.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, looking at what Mafia was able to do, not only on those 2 goals, but just around the field, just the entire game. I mean, you saw several solo plays coming from Encrypted, pass plays from other teammates, and they have a really good offensive-worthy team, but they need to figure out how to connect that against another very aggressive offensive team and how to not slip up, as we saw when the Patriots got there. I believe it was 3rd goal. Where they, got caught a little too far on the offensive side and kind of left that net wide open for the Patriots to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and scroll through a couple of teams here, see what's going on, and see what's going on with each of these players, look a little bit into their mindset. And honestly, it's just great to have them here in the arena with us. I'd love to meet up with them afterwards, ask them about the event, see what they've enjoyed. And for some of these players, it's their first land. It's their first time being here. And because of that, we decided to poll some results as well, asking about some different things that were going on. And one of those things for Rocket League specifically was, what's their favorite car? And, as you as a coach and someone who's within the community, I want to ask, make any predictions. What do you think the best car was chosen as?
It's got to be Octane or Fennec.
Well, actually, it was the Octane with 38 votes, with the Fennec being close second at 7 votes. The Octane, of course, being that sort of poster car, and we've been seeing it a couple of times here. And, of course, Goated going ahead and making me just have to stop with this conversation and just go ahead and bask in the glory of the Mafia.
Yeah,
Goated
he's telling you to start talking about the game, less about the cards, He's like, look what I can do. And an early goal here for the Mafia. Great kickoff goal for them to get a good lead, a little bit of a bounce back after that game 1, which was favored to the Patriots. Let's hope they can keep that type of pressure and good kickoff strategies up throughout the rest of this game, as we see a great save there by Encrypted.
Yeah, I think the Patriots were going ahead and seeing that and going, okay, we need to even up the score fast. But the Mafia said, hey, no, we've also got great defense here too. We can stop that from happening. So an absolutely amazing showing by both of those teams in that one instance alone. Right at kickoff, I think, has been the moments that we've been seeing the most aggressive gameplay and the most potential for goals to happen and some amazing saves right then and there. But I don't know if that's just due to how the game is made. I don't know if that's just how these teams operate, if they're playing very early into the kickoff and then relaxing back. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's really all mental, like how you are able to bounce back. I know you mentioned that the Patriots almost had a bite back immediately after the kickoff goal from Mafia, but I've seen a lot of great shots through this game so far from both teams, but again, with the score only 1-0 and you're seeing great shots, that means you're seeing great saves too. And both of these teams have been able to do that throughout this game.
Yeah, and a really good defensive strategy there by the Mafia, as we just saw, going ahead and demoing the Patriots to try to relieve some pressure off their side of the board. It's different when you have 2 people attacking you when you're a team of 3 versus 3 people attacking you as a team of 3. And so being able to place themselves there and, have that greatly timed demo to go ahead and relieve that pressure to put that back on the Patriots side of things, it could lead to another score and could make it so that the gap between these 2 teams is greater and greater, which will be harder for the Patriots to go ahead and try to recover from. A little under 3 minutes here as we go ahead and watch the Patriots try to put more pressure on the Mafia side of the field, but Mafia going ahead and responding with Encrypted, I believe, bringing that ball right back over. Okami going ahead and playing over here on the side, but Goated going ahead and bringing it towards the backboard, I believe trying to get a setup, but of course, Patriots are trying to play around that goal, trying to keep the defense strong.
Yeah, it's been a great pressure opportunity for Mafia this past minute. Since around the 3:30 mark, they've held great pressure against the Patriots. Obviously, that Patriots wall has held up, as we've seen in the series, in the previous series. They're able to keep that wall up. They don't panic in situations like this, but we're seeing the mechanics come out from Mafia, the solo plays that's making them a little awkward, the pass plays, mid, whatever it may be. Looks like we saw an attempt of it there. He tried to get it across field. A lot of close shots for Mafia. I think if they could just keep doing what they're doing, they could close out this game, maybe even just 1-0, because 1-0 still works, right?
Yeah.
In a game for them.
Yeah, 1-0 would still work and would even up the score overall in the full series, getting us closer, of course, to that game 5. But of course, I think the Patriots aren't going to be playing this game laying down, and they're showing us some really good offense and some really good pressure against the Mafia.
Oh, 100%. And not only have they had that pressure, but again, we see a great demonstration from them of the defense. I mean, the ball has been in their half now for almost 2 minutes. They're just now getting it out to that Mafia side, but having 2 minutes of pressure just on you constantly, and the Mafia has been able to have great boost management to be able to keep that pressure up, but it doesn't seem to affect the Patriots on defense. They're doing a wonderful job of keeping the ball out of their net, great rotations on defense. They're getting by with boost. Like I said, Mafia is taking up a lot of it, keeping this pressure, but they've done well.
There was a great demo back there by Fantasy, who was trying to apply pressure back onto the Mafia side of the board, and Mafia, seeing that, was able to get the ball away, and putting us into this 1-minute situation for the Patriots where they're going to need to have to score or to keep scores from happening for the Mafia in order to continue this game onward and keep the lead that they have in this series.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what they got to do, and they got to start now at the 45-second mark, is they got to get this ball out, but not only out of their half, they have to keep it out of their half. They have to get down there, and they have to be able to hold it for this last 30 seconds if they want a good chance at being able to tie up this game and possibly see an OT here for the to get the advantage in game 2.
Yeah, and we're going ahead and seeing that pressure being placed here now on Mafia's net. Fantasy playing around, kind of trying to trip them up, see like, oh, am I going for it, am I not? But of course, the ball being sent back over to the half, and a good demo there on Fantasy as well. Go to trying to add more pressure, maybe even going for a last-minute goal here. As we enter into the last 5 seconds, it's looking like the Mafia may be taking this one away, and go ahead and take it into a tied series.
Yeah, and that was a great game for both teams. They really demonstrated what both of these teams are capable of, not only on offense, the offensive pressure, but as we look at the saves here from Patriots, we see 6 saves overall, opposed to the Mafia's 7 shots. Now, the only shot that Mafia had that, of course, they didn't have missed shots is what I'm trying to say. Every shot that they had was on target. Patriots able to make the save, but good mix of everything from both of these teams. You see good offense from Mafia. You see good defense from Patriots, but even when you flip the circumstances, Mafia was able to hold Patriots to a zero score game, and the Patriots only let up only 1 in that game, opposed to 7 shots.
Yeah, and it's that one goal that really matters, that one moment that someone isn't in the goal to be able to defend against it. That game wasn't a high-scoring game. It wasn't a blowout in any means. These two teams were playing very evenly, and I think they're both showing that they both deserve to be here in this LAN event. And I cannot wait to see what they go ahead and do next. I think we're getting closer to that prediction that you were making earlier, of maybe even seeing a Game 5, and hopefully we'll be seeing them go into overtime as well. But we're getting everything set up, getting the cars ready, and we're going into kickoff here with 1 second on the clock, 5 minutes ready to go. Mafia versus Patriots, and a lot of pressure currently being put on the Patriots side.
Yeah, as you see, again, Mafia started with that same strategy they did last game, which got them the win. And their only goal that game, mind you, was at the very beginning when they just came out firing, aggressive, right off kickoff to cause that kickoff goal, and they did it again this game, and it's been beneficial to them. They might have a good opportunity here to score. Doesn't connect. That Patriots defense holds on.
Yeah, there's very good defense on both sides here, and just, again, this goes into that statement I made earlier of most goals that happen seem to happen right after kickoff or take a while before we even get to see them again. And I feel like these two teams are just so evenly matched that they need to be playing for those early kickoff rounds, or we're going to be here for a while. But, of course, Mafia going to go ahead and make me sit down, settle in, and watch this beautiful shot that's being made by Akami.
For sure. We need to talk more about people not scoring, right? These low-scoring games, because it seems like every time we do, it's a turnaround and it's an immediate score. Great start here for Mafia in the first minute.
Yeah, people call that the caster's curse, but I don't personally believe in that. Having done a couple of events here in the LAN, it doesn't always happen. But either way, both of these teams are really showing what they have to offer here, and I'm really glad to be seeing mostly, again, another game from the Patriots. I thought they showed really elegant gameplay and really good communication, showing what esports is all about, and getting to see them play a closer matchup with the Mafia here in this next round, and a very competitive, low-scoring game here as well, shows just how different esports can be when it comes to different games.
100%. And another thing you got to look at in these long, low-scoring games for both of these teams. I mean, you know, we've seen a 1-0 for not only all of Game 2, but for the front half of this Game 3 as well. But the mental,
Yes.
you're not even if you're Mafia here and have taken Game 2 by 1 goal and have a goal here, they don't feel like they're scoring that much because they're actually not. Right, so you got to look at the mental of these teams as a great shot gets put on net. Another good save from Mafia, but the mentality of these players has to be like rock solid, because these low-scoring games, long games, I mean, as we're approaching the halfway mark here, you already see another 1-0 game.
Yeah, and of course, I think it's also great to mention that looking back at that Spartan game, which I'll do after this, Mateo going ahead and showing us a beautiful shot here, going ahead from one side, taking control. As the Mafia had most control of the ball there, Mateo was just able to sneak in and get that shot in, which is amazing for us to see here, and going ahead and tying it up, taking that pressure off of them and allowing them to play once again for another kickoff. Going back into what I was going to say earlier, the game between the Patriots and the Spartans, I think, highlights the two different types of games that you're going to have here in Rocket League. Either really high-scoring games where both teams are finding the weaknesses in the other's defense and perfectly just going in and out and able to make some beautiful shots just like Encrypted did here, or you're going to be seeing games like this where the defense is so strong and the offense is more mentally challenging, and trying to find those specific moments, the defense being so strong that you have to find the one crack in the wall rather than the multiple.
100%. I agree with you totally on that. And to set up that silver platter goal for Encrypted there was a great team play as far as getting bumps on the back end of the Patriots half, as we see another early pressure situation from the Mafia right off kickoff. Do Patriots try a different kickoff?
It's possible that Patriots try a different kickoff just to try a different strategy here, but you know, it may not be the kickoff that's the issue, really. It may just be more that they are not used to the pressure being placed on their side, and they may even be tired from having one broadcast game already and having to go immediately into another one. That could be another factor, but as you can see here, it looked like they did try a different kickoff and were immediately able to put pressure on Mafia, but Mafia was able to respond once again, putting it back towards the Patriots' court.
Yeah, and I think it's that boost management midfield. I think to get back into this game, as we just passed the 2-minute mark in this Game 3, the Patriots have to take boost control mid. I think that's why Mafia is able to get that type of pressure right immediately off kickoff, or they're able to react to if Patriots did that same thing to them, is because they have the boost control mid. Another thing Patriots look for is passes like that. That's a great pass and a wonderful shot there by Fantasies. Doesn't quite connect, though. The Mafia defense does not fold in that situation.
Yeah, and we also saw there's some great defense, of course, from Encrypted, who was able to be at the right place at the right time and stop that shot from going in. If Encrypted wasn't there, that shot would have been another score, and it would have taken us to 3-2, which is a lot easier to come back from than a 3-1 once you hit that 1-minute mark, which we're slowly approaching.
For sure. And one thing I've learned over playing and coaching and seeing a lot of games happen is until 1 second hits and a team is up by 2, or until, like you said, it's easier to come back from a 1-point deficit while you're inside 1 minute. But this game is still winnable by Patriots. And you know, if they get a goal here in the next couple seconds, then they're only 1 goal behind, take it into overtime, score another one. That's their path to victory here in Game 3. What they got to do is they got to get it out of their half, though. You see a quick counter here by Mafia. Again, just control of the mid boost.
Yeah, Fantasy going ahead and trying to make a dribble over here, able to bring it over towards the wall, and a demo being placed on Goated is going to make the defense weaker for Mateo to go ahead and get a shot on goal, making this a much easier game to come back from, and maybe even taking us into overtime.
For sure, and I want to highlight there the fake from Subtract early. It kind of threw off Mafia's defense on the back wall, and it gave Mateo that easy shot to really stay in this game while we get past the 30-second mark. Very winnable for Patriots here.
Yeah, and it's possible that Patriots go ahead and take this momentum and go into another kickoff or another early goal, which I think was being attempted there, but Mafia was able to counter that. Encrypted going ahead in the kickoff, taking control of the ball, but the Patriots being able to take it back and try to apply pressure once again. Encrypted playing some amazing defense here in net.
For sure. The Patriots have had good pressure. There we go. We tie it up. 4 seconds left to go. Anybody's game at this point. We could see our first OT on stream. It's been a great series so far. This is a great game 3. I wouldn't have it any other way to, take the lead in the series other than an overtime 3-3 very offensive clash between these two teams.
We do also have to be careful though, because it seems the kickoff is the one moment that these teams go ahead and strike their hardest. So it's possible that we don't go into an OT, but that's not in the cards today. OT for this round. To go ahead and see who gets the advantage going into the next round. Again, it's not over once this round is over. This isn't a best of 3. This is a best of 5. Normally, this would have been a deciding factor, but for right now, it's not going to be. Mafia going ahead and just taking the lead, but not ending the series for themselves yet. We've got one more game to go from there, but Mafia going ahead and taking this one home.
For sure. Again, you see another quick attack off kickoff. I mean, not even 10 seconds into overtime, they're able to capitalize on a slight mishap on the Patriots' rotations. Either way, it doesn't matter. Mafia takes game 3. One thing to look at, the amount of shots on net. I mean, 9 from Mafia, 8 from Patriots. This has been a very offensive, heavy game, and we see it on the scoreboard. 4-3 goes into OT, and Mafia comes out on top, leading the series, kind of puts it in game point.
Yeah, and the question becomes, what does the Patriots do now, having been put in that situation? Going to overtime, knowing that they can take Mafia into overtime or even take the lead, what do they have to do? And for me personally, I think it's kickoff. They need to change their kickoff strategy. Go ahead and keep the Mafia from having that super early aggression, because most of the shots that the Patriots were making were later in the game, playing a more endurance-based game. But the Mafia seem to be sprinters, and they're sprinting fast. For the Patriots to be in order to catch up, they need to make it so that this hare can't outrace the tortoise.
And yeah, you're totally right. In my opinion, I think it is a kickoff differential there between the two teams. 3 of the 4 of Mafia's goals came from inside 10 seconds of a kickoff. And I mean, when you got that, and you just got to figure out a way to defend that, whether that's you could maybe fake a kickoff and take possession early, or like I said, after someone goes for the kickoff, you get that mid boost to take boost control.
Well, we'll watch it here as we go into the first kickoff of Game 4. This will be a deciding factor. If Mafia takes this one away, we'll be seeing the Patriots being taken down into the lower bracket and Mafia continuing onwards. But we could also see ourselves going into a Game 5 here if the Patriots are able to play a really good offensive game, putting a lot of pressure onto the Mafia's net here. And we go ahead and see Encrypted trying to play a little bit of defense there in the air. But, of course, wasn't needed. Only hit the backboard there.
Oh, for sure. I can really only hope for a Game 5. Like I said, I'm not sure what's happening in the other series across the arena, but we haven't seen a Game 5 yet in this bracket, so I can hope for it here. The Patriots, do they become more aggressive here? As we see, a great save from Fantasies there. Can they keep that up? A good traded demo, actually, which is when 2 cars clash and they both get demoed and off the field for a few seconds. But can the Patriots have enough offensive pressure, have the right mix of defending shots and counterattacks to throw off this Mafia team?
I think we're also currently seeing a good matchup between the 2 defensive players of the game. It seems that Fantasy is playing a little more farther back and is making some really great saves between this game and the last. But we're also seeing Encrypted do the exact same thing. So I think it will start becoming a challenge of who's going to be the more aggressive of the 2 teams to be able to break through that defensive hold, or who's going to be able to, capitalize on the defense. And of course, as we see there, when Fantasy wasn't in goal, and it's unfortunately a moment that's going to be used against the Patriots there, and you let the Mafia get a score.
Yeah, great pass play there from Mafia. Great pass, great shot, little pass upfield. That's one thing to look for. If you're ever rotating out or rotating upfield, and the next person who has to hit the ball, look for that teammate upfield. It's a good way to keep possession as you move up the field and create a counterattack, which Mafia did perfectly there in that situation.
Yeah. All the Rocket League players at home watching, take notes. That's a coach talking to you. Anyway, going ahead and watching Mateo launch himself into the air with a little bit of the rocket in Rocket League, putting some pressure onto the Mafia side of the field. once again, I want to highlight just how amazingly pretty this game looks. And, you know, I don't think we've seen a car that's been like the exact same. We've been seeing similar models, similar decals, but the mix-up has always been slightly different. And of course, the mix-up in strategies have always been slightly different. I think that's just one of the biggest things that Rocket League shows us, is that it's not only visual what we're seeing with the cars all being different, but it's mentally a different game depending on who's playing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, with teams of Encrypted wants me to stop talking, but great shot there from Encrypted. Good pass midfield for the Mafia team. Take a 2-0 lead against this Patriots team in Game 4. But as I was saying, it's the type of game that this is. There's never the same thing, right? You could go anywhere on the field, rotate however you want, with who you want, with whatever car you want, what decal you want. It's so open to as many possibilities. Great pass play there from, I believe that was Subtracting, 2 fantasies to get them back in this game, really. You know, they closed the gap here. What a shot, top right.
That's just so hard to defend against. Yeah. And that was an early kickoff play. One of the first that we've seen from the Patriots in this matchup. So, you know, maybe this does show a change in the kick-up strategy from both. Maybe Mafia is changing it up, playing a little more passively because they're getting used to being like here in the lead with the deficit. But, you know, maybe it's from the Patriots. Maybe they're deciding, you know what, we need to play a little more aggressive. We need to do this.
For sure, and you see on that goal, you mentioned the kickoff strategy there from Patriots changed up a little bit. They were able to move forward, Subtracting, move forward and get that mid boost and get that pass mid for fantasies. As we see, Subtracting put another laser in the bottom right of the Mafia's net.
Yeah, it seems that Subtract and Fantasy are starting to communicate with each other in a different way and trying to find, again, like we saw in the last game against the Spartans, those little cracks in the wall and being able to chip away at them and get these points in. Tying up this series with a little over 2 minutes left, that's a really good spot to be in, especially if we want to see an overtime.
Oh, 100%. It's what Patriots need right now. A good bump there from Mafia could turn into a goal, and it does. Right positioning at the right time, but we see a great demo play there from the Mafia team. But you know, the Patriots, they need that form of offense. This is a game point for Mafia, and right now it's a fight for that upper bracket right now.
Yeah, and I definitely think that we're also seeing that, like, even an attempt at defense can sometimes go wrong just based on positioning or based on boost. I think that has to do with how much control the Mafia has over the boost on the field. As we spoke about last game, they kept a lot of that mid-boost control. Well, I think this game as well, they're sort of like starving the Patriots side of the field of boost, making it harder for them to be able to defend. But of course, shots like that, if they were in the right place in the right time, would have been able to tie the score once again.
For sure, and that was a really close counterattack from the Patriots, just slightly off the post there. Hopefully they can keep this ball in the Mafia's half, hopefully tie up this game and have a great possibility of taking it to Game 5, in which they're battling it out for that spot in upper bracket as they've been so far in this series.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing gameplay from both of these teams, and honestly, I'm kind of hoping that the Patriots win this one out because I don't want to see them go. It's been fun watching them on the broadcast, but of course we do have to let go sometimes. But the Mafia is going ahead and showing a really strong showing as we enter into the last minute. Again, close games. These have been extremely close games. There hasn't been any blowouts in either of the games that we've seen so far in the broadcast. I think that's definitely showing that these teams deserve to be here. And as the Mafia is showing you, they definitely deserve to be here as they go ahead and make the gap in the score even larger.
100%. And when you have players like that can get hat tricks in a game alone, you know, 3 goals, and it's really hard to defend against or to win against that because one player on the other team, you know, 3 goals, great passes to him, credit the rest of the Mafia team. It has been a great team effort to, we might see a comeback from Patriots here, but if not, it was a great effort from them to knock off this Patriots team who had been on fire coming out of that last series.
That was a really close shot on goal as well from both teams. Right at kickoff, Subtract going ahead and bringing the goal over towards the Mafia side, just having the right player at the right moment. I believe it was Encrypted going in and saving it, but then Encrypted was able to pass that to a player to put the pressure back on the Patriots, who were able to have their own defender there and ready, but when that defender isn't there, the score gap gets larger and larger. Mafia able to make another point here. Encrypted able to bounce the ball off of a member of the Patriots, and Okami being in the right place to pinch the ball towards goal.
For sure. I mean, Okami 4 goals in this game, and I think that 5th is for sure the nail in the coffin here. for the Patriots. But like I said, great team effort from Mafia. Oh man, that hurts to see. I hate to see that for the Patriots.
Yeah, go to Noel going ahead and kick off, going ahead and trying to make the goal, and unfortunately Subtract is just not able to be at the right place and get the boost needed in order to stop that. If the 5th point wasn't, it may have been the 6th. With 7 seconds left, it's a little bit harder to go ahead and score 4 points in overtime without the ball touching the ground. That's just
very, very unlikely.
Yeah, very unlikely. And as we see there, the Mafia going ahead and taking it away and going ahead and winning this series in the 2nd round, taking our Patriots to the lower bracket.
For sure. I mean, although it was a 3-1 series, we didn't get to see our first Game 5. Who knows, maybe somewhere else in the arena there was a Game 5 series. I sure hope so. But this was a great series. As you said, very close games except for the last. I mean, you could kind of say it got chalked up a little bit towards the end. Like, it was a situation where, they knew it had already been over, and a couple goals at the end, nail in the coffin, like I said. But other than that, it was close games. Very great offense and defensive showing from both of these teams, as we see players and coaches fist bumping after the game. Great sportsmanship from them.
Yeah, these teams are showing a lot of respect for each other, which we absolutely love to see. And I want to throw some respect towards the Patriots. They played an amazing game there, and even though they're going to be taken down into the lower bracket, it's perfectly fine. They have a way to go ahead and get back up there and get back into maybe even losers finals, make their way into the grands. That's what I'm hoping for the Patriots, but of course only time will really tell. Instinct, what do you think was probably the best moment in that game for you?
I'd have to say the pass plays from Mafia. They looked really good. They were passing in the air, not only on the ground, but in the, keep it in the air, throw the Patriots defense off a little bit. The shots coming in hard and powerful from up top. I really like those plays from Mafia, but not only that, I want to highlight the Patriots defense. Again, they only held to 1 goal in that first game and the second game, and held them at 1 goal for a while in that 3rd game, as we saw.
Yeah, I think I really have to give it up to those 1-0 games, just the constant aggression between the two teams, but showing that perfect defense as well. Those were some absolutely beautiful games and gave us a lot of time as casters to be able to look back and look at what these teams will be doing. So let's go ahead and make some quick predictions. Patriots, do you think they'll make it through the lower bracket?
If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to see the bracket again, but I wonder if I'd like to see a rematch between the Patriots and the Spartans. I think that'd be really good. Both of the teams have learned a lot about each other throughout that first series, and I'd like to see a matchup from them in the lower bracket. But seeing this Patriots team go through the lower bracket, I think they have a good chance. As we see the bracket here, again, we see that there weren't any Game 5s unless we see the Beacons game go into a Game 5. But we see a 3-0 from Cap Tech. We just saw 3-1 Mafia. Another 3-0 from North Brunswick. That North Brunswick and Cap Tech, they're very dangerous teams.
They are absolutely dangerous teams, and that's going to be a matchup that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Brunswick versus Mafia. They met each other in the They met each other earlier on in the series when we were playing in the divisional section, so I'm wondering if there's going to be some bad blood there between the two teams and see what's going on. Cap Tech, I think either of the teams that go ahead are going to have a fun time, but let's go ahead and take a look at our elim bracket and see what's set up there. Spartans are going ahead and facing off against Noble. That's going to be a fun match to go ahead and watch. And it looks like C-Tech is going to be taking on Valor. The Patriots we're going to see who they're going to be facing off against here pretty soon. Still having a game there in progress. So I'm really interested to see what's going to be going on.
Oh, 100%. And to kind of catch us up, we see after the Spartans had went down to the elimination bracket that they were able to get a 3-0, a little bit of recovery, momentum shift for them mentally to go into the next series. Hopefully they can continue their run. As we see, we're waiting to see who the Patriots will play. But I think either way it's going to be a good series because the Patriots have showed it's easy for them to switch play styles. We saw against the Spartans they were really aggressive, but against this Mafia team that was so aggressive, they were able to hold on defense for most of those games. Yeah. But I agree with the Mafia North Brunswick matchup. That's going to be a great series. I'd love to see it. They met up many times before, whether it was in the qualifiers tournament or the playoffs, the regular season, sorry. And we saw another great series during that time.
You know what else was a great series? You know, this is not my first time casting at this desk, and I actually have a blast from the past to show you all some E2 weekend stuff that we've had here in the UNCG arena. So I hope that you guys enjoy this little video package.
The interesting thing is that this is not only for game design teachers, it's not only for computer science teachers, it's for teachers in all disciplines. It can be science, it can be social studies, it can be math. Any application of a curriculum can be applied here, and educators need to consider this because it's how you bridge the gap between what the students are interested in and your curriculum.
Unreal Engine is being broadly adopted across so many industries, and what I think is really cool is that Unreal Engine is a game engine, right? And so many people are using it for more than just what it was intended for. There are car companies using Unreal Engine. There are advertisers using Unreal Engine. I mean, it's everywhere. And there's a space for kids, students, anyone to create using these tools.
Kids are equipped with the skills, you know, and the know-how in terms of using these tools, as long as we give them the opportunities. So we feel that, you know, if we can access and work with educators and sort of take the intimidation away and allow them to understand that they don't have to be an expert to support students in these areas, that they can help create these great opportunities for their students.
Well, one of the things that we were, you know, as a department, we've been thinking about how we can start to integrate with the esports here. A lot of our students are already interested in it, and so we're trying to find a way, how can we work that into the curriculum, and how can we work with other departments to bring this to our students. So this is going to be a big step for us if we can start to integrate this into our curriculum.
My second born, he wants to be a game designer, and I said, hey, let's come here and see what UNCG has to offer, what they're doing this new esports arena, and also bringing the Unreal Engine experience for educators. Definitely want to take what we learned today and continue for this weekend to start something, how we can use that curriculum and just the advancement of getting the word out about, you know, esports and game development.
The true power in bringing these tools to educators is we feel that we're, you know, sort of trying to nurture the next generation of creators. These are industry standard tools. These are the tools that if kids in high school or college can, you know, leave, you know, well equipped with using tools like Unreal Engine, Fortnite Creative, Twinmotion, Sketchfab, some of our other tools, you know, they're ready for industry opportunities.
So it's really important for EPIC to collaborate with the community because, you know, we can't do it on our own. We need people that see that these are important things to bring to students, and that's what we see at UNCG. I would love to see Unreal Engine widely implemented in schools and just kids having the opportunity to have these tools at their disposal because there's no charge to use them. So it's like, wow, like why can't we say, look at this tool. You can do anything you want with this and I mean, and it can take you anywhere.
Yeah, as you all saw there, some very familiar faces for me, including my own. But of course, E2 Weekend isn't just about the competitions that we have here. It's about educating people about what the uses of Unreal Engine are and how amazing of a software it actually is. You know, you heard there that car companies and other businesses are using it to innovate. And I even know personally as a media studies student that graduated here that Unreal Engine has been used inside of film sets as well. And it's just such an amazing thing to have and be able to work around with. Do you have any personal experience with the Unreal Engine?
I actually don't, but I see it as a great software. And, you know, as you saw in the video, it's car companies, and you mentioned films. It's obviously used widely around any type of computer, whatever the objective you may be reaching for, it's able to reach that.
Well, it looks like you may have to come to an E2 weekend and go ahead and learn about this program because it's absolutely amazing. I've fiddled around with it myself trying to make my own video games, but also make just backgrounds for sets for movies or look at kind of making my own design in the Unreal Engine. It's been an absolutely amazing experience to go ahead and use it and to educate other people about it as well.
For sure. And to be fair, I did come to the E2 weekend when it was a Rocket League tournament, but I did not do anything with the software. I was just kind of like a volunteer helping out around the arena. But yeah, it's a really great software, and it's good that we can get a collaboration of not only competing, but learning about this type of software.
Yeah, and again, E2 Weekend isn't just about learning. It does have some competition values inside of it as well. As you saw in the video, a picture of me, Mo, and Panda right here at the caster's desk, getting my own experience, but also giving people the opportunity to play in the software and play games that use the Unreal Engine, just like Fortnite and Rocket League. You know, I absolutely love all the stuff that we're doing here, but we're trying to get everything still set up. So I think we're going to go ahead and try to push ourselves towards a bit of a break. But first, before we do that, let's take a look at the bracket. Looking here at the bracket, once again, let's highlight North Brunswick versus the Mafia will be the next game after the broadcast that we had. We're still waiting for the results for Beacon, so CapTech is still waiting to see who they'll be facing. But it's a very close game there. We can see it's a 1-1 currently, so we'll be seeing what's going on there. If we go ahead and follow actually the path of the Patriots, as we saw in the broadcast, you know, the Spartans were taken down into the elim bracket. We'll see what's going on there in their next matchup. And C-Tech, of course, being knocked down as well by North Brunswick. I'm extremely excited to see what some of these other teams do, however, in the lower half of the bracket, which we haven't been able to see on broadcast yet.
Oh, I mean, 100%. And I think we're going, lower bracket here now. As I said earlier, Spartans were able to fight back and kind of get a momentum shift for them, beating New Bern 3-0. I believe it would take some work to see our rematch that we were wanting between Spartans and the Patriots. Not completely out, but it would take some work for sure. But I see a lot of great matchups here in this lower bracket. And as we saw in the upper bracket, that there were definitely matches to look for. The match that's still going on was a great match, 1-1. Could go either way. Could be our first Game 5. We still haven't seen a Game 5.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Game 5 yet, but I'm extremely excited to see the potential of seeing a Game 5 and what that will all entail. And I'm hoping we catch it on broadcast. You know, of course, we're still limited technology-wise as humanity, but of course, we're also limited in the time that we need to take a break, because I'm getting hot up here and I'm sweating and I need to get some water. So we're gonna go ahead and be right back, but we'll see what's going to happen on the broadcast next, so stay tuned. Welcome everybody back to the UNCG Esports Arena. We're getting everything prepped for our next broadcast match. Sorry, I'm choking on water now. But yes, it's going to be Noble Academy versus the Spartans. We saw the Spartans already on the broadcast, but this is our first time going ahead and seeing Noble Academy. Let's also go ahead and take a look at the bracket real quick for this next round's matchups. First off, looking at upper bracket, again, North Brunswick versus the Mafia, and now seeing that it's Cab Tech versus the Beacons. What do you think about all that, Instinct?
I also see a Game 5. Our first Game 5 of this tournament came in the upper bracket with Beacons coming out of that on top in 5. I would have loved to have seen that game. But
Yeah, we'll now be looking at the Elim bracket as well. And, you know, maybe you'll have to root for the Beacons so that you can see a repeat performance of that. But we're going ahead and seeing this now. We've got, it seems to be Kearns Academy versus another team of Spartans, if I'm correct. Noble Academy versus Spartans, which we'll be watching on this broadcast. Patriots versus South Brunswick, which I think is going to be a very interesting match, and we'll love to see the results of that. And C-Tech versus Valor, another amazing match that I'm very curious about, because C-Tech versus Patriots, I think would be a very fun game to watch.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, looking at that elimination bracket and saying that, hey, all these games are going to be good games, they're going to be close. You see the Brunswick game, but they're on the brink. Like, that's it. Like, you know, you got to really focus up and get together with the team and be able to have your best play, right? Even if that's not a winnable play, even if you don't come out on top, as long as you know that, you know, you played your best, you did your game correctly, and, you know, no matter the outcome of those games, you can know that you played well.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be seeing some great gameplay here. Of course, our broadcast match, Spartans versus Noble Academy. Going to be very fun to watch those two teams go against each other. Any predictions that you may have for this match? I know that we've seen the Spartans on stream before, but anything that you're hoping to see maybe from Noble?
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen much on this Noble team. I didn't have the opportunity to look at any of the stat sheets for this team. I think one thing that I do know about them, though, is that they have a good reputation from the regular season. So they've been a good team. They've played well, and they were able to get, I think, a win in the first round of uppers, and now they're coming down to the lower bracket to compete against the Spartans team, which rebounded really well in the lower bracket after an unfortunate loss to the Patriots in the uppers. But I think it could be a really good matchup, seeing as, like I said, now the Spartans are kind of on a roll. They dropped down, but they got a quick 3-0 to get their confidence back up, get a quick turnaround. So.
Yeah, I think recovery is really key here. You know, this was not a, one and done, it's all over. That's the beauty, I think, of a double elim tournament, is just the fact that even if a team loses a match or doesn't play favorably well, or maybe has a really bad matchup against another team and just aren't able to get a groove, it's not over yet. But it's very interesting to see, like, Spartans versus the Knights here, you know, like looking at their scores and looking at the little bit of statistics I was able to do over the season. These two teams will probably be seeing very aggressive gameplay from what I was seeing overall. And of course, I'm hoping to see some aerial mastery between these two teams as well. Anything that you're hoping to see, other than, of course, you know, you're always wanting that Game 5 overtime.
I want it.
Is there anything else that you're hoping to look for in this game?
Emotions like that. I'm not sure which series that is, but a lot of emotion coming from that game, and that's what it's all about, and especially in this environment at the Esports Arena here at UNCG. Just the amount of emotion, the fact that you could celebrate with your team and physically see them, and not only that, like, be able to look at the other team, compete, and as we've seen so far, have the respect that for these teams and the other teams across the table.
Yeah, of course. The whole point of a LAN tournament, I feel, is that you get to see these players with each other, and you get to see the mutual respect between them. They all love this game. They're all competing in the same game, hoping for the same goal. So, of course, they're gonna mutually, like, talk to each other, do fist bumps, as we're seeing here, and, of course, have an amazing energy inside of the room. You know, whenever I go to a theater or a performance, like a musical maybe, I love the energy that the actors are giving. And of course, these players are hopefully going to put on the best performance that they can and play their beautiful song. But who will be seeing it out to the final? Let's see, between the Knights and the Spartans. Going right into kickoff here. We'll be seeing what's going on in just a few moments as Gummy Bear's going ahead and pressing towards the goal and trying to make a nice shot, but a good demo is able to stop it there.
Yeah, it looks like a great start from the Spartans there. They were immediately able to take possession off kickoff. Couple demos coming in. They're being great for they're doing great on the aggression so far this game, but as you saw, a good dribble play from Gummy Bear, good pass across field, not quite able to connect, but for Gummy Bear to have that awareness, it's really good. And as we mentioned before with this Spartans team in that Patriots series, that they have good communication together.
Yeah, and I feel like the Spartans are showing really the dedication that they have to this, and also the great communication they have between each other. Now, whether it's going to be that technical aspect that they're able to repeat there and be able to actually succeed on what they're communicating on, that's a completely different story and something that I'm hoping to see here. Noble, on the other hand, taking an approach that we saw in a later game towards the division finals that we also broadcasted together, keeping someone in net. We talked about it a little bit there, and for right now it's working, but we'll see where it goes further on.
For sure, and you see a great pass there from, I believe, I can't see the name, but
I have no idea.
Great connection from Noble Academy. Guy finishes it off, top right, great score for them, just under a minute into the game.
And for anyone wondering at home, no, I didn't have no idea what the name of the player is. That is their name. I have no idea, as we're seeing here. Going ahead and making a nice play, bringing the ball into the corner and playing off a little bit with Guy here. These two seem to be having a nice chemistry together, probably similar to what we see on the Spartans team.
Oh, for sure. And it seems like, as you mentioned before, that they are keeping that one person in net, and it's working for them so far. They've had great saves and on valuable shots from the Spartans. I mean, they're not putting bad shots on. They're good, powerful, great placement on the net. They're passing across the midfield. Spartans are on a really good roll of pressure here, but Noble has been able to hold that with the one person in net strategy, and maybe Spartans here kind of catching on to that. You know, I see that they have someone sitting in net as well. It could let off the pressure a little bit from the Spartans, though.
Yeah, very true. And of course, speaking of having a player over towards net, you know, both teams are sort of utilizing the same type of play style. Let's talk about that a little bit, because at the division finals, we had that same strategy be pivoted towards as we were watching against Captech and North Brunswick. So, you know, the pros and cons of that we discussed a little bit. I think we're seeing some of them here as Gummy Bear goes ahead and makes a shot now, as we'll see a replay, picking up some boost, getting into the air and being able to perfectly just soar the ball right over the only person defending the net there. It's very good gameplay there by Gummy Bear, and you know, it brings up this whole idea of what are the differences in the strategy of having one person playing as a dedicated defense versus having all three players sort of rotate around each other.
Yeah, and going back to the shot, it was a great shot. It looked like the person in net for Noble didn't quite expect it. You know, they saw the miss from the first Spartan that had come through with a shot, and they kind of crept forward a little bit, just a little too much. Gummy Bear, great speed, great awareness, had the boost pick up mid, was able to make a quick play on the ball, resulting in a goal for them.
Yeah. Again, thinking about these types of strategies and the, you know, how it conserves boost, I do think also having someone back towards net is very interesting, because you can also have them constantly be making sure that the boost management on your side of the field can be controlled. If someone from, let's say, the Spartans comes over towards Noble Academy and tries to starve them of boost on their side of the field, that player can actually go over and demo them, and that makes it an even harder experience for the Spartans. However, at the same time, you do have to see that when you're playing more offensively, like we saw there with that very beautiful shot by Peyton, you're having a moment of not having someone else to back up your play. Let's say for some reason Gummy Bear and Peyton both missed the shot. Well, if they had someone else there, they would be able to pick up on that and actually confirm the goal.
For sure, and we saw that in that finals a couple weeks ago, that, you know, some of the pressure when they're using that one person in that or strategy, that the pressure falls off a little bit. But to recap real quick on what happens, let's see, we had a goal from a Gummy Bear pass up to Peyton. Great awareness from him, and another quick goal by Gummy Bear, getting the ball just over the third man. Here we go, the fourth kickoff of the game. Could end up resulting in a quick goal for Peyton there.
It's very close, and there's a lot of energy going on inside of the room right now that, of course, is getting hopefully picked up by our microphones, and of course being picked up in this arena as well. But yeah, of course, so Gummy Bear, of course, showing that really good offense that they have and the ability to just pick apart the exact moment that they need to take the shot on goal. And the really aggressive gameplay that we're seeing here from players like Guy and I Have No Idea. These players are really showing us what they're made of. Going back into the scoring, however, we're seeing this is a 3-1 game. It's a little harder to come back, and we're only 10 seconds away from a minute left in the round. What do you think these players are going to have to do in order to make sure that they can make it through?
I think one thing Noble can do is they have to keep up the pressure, obviously, but they're sticking with that one person in net play style there, and that's okay in situations like this, especially if the Spartans do it as well, which they have, and it's worked a little better for them. But what Noble has to do is when they let up on pressure against the Spartans, that third man that is playing in net for Noble has to bang it right back in so that the other two can grab boost and recover and be able to get back into the play without having to try to make a play on the ball.
Yeah, it seems you're speaking there on some continued pressure, which I definitely think is something that, these teams are going to have to do, especially Noble Academy if they want to get these last few scores on. They only have 30 seconds left in the round. Let's see if they're able to do it. Racer playing more towards goal, bringing the ball back. Payne playing a little bit more towards the air, bringing it towards the corner. Guy trying to add that pressure, and just as we were speaking about with that last 10 seconds, Spartans are able to put more pressure towards Noble Academy. Of course, a save being made there by Admin, but is it going to be enough? I don't think it's going to be, as another shot on goal was almost made, and the Spartans are able to take away game 1.
For sure, and I think what change can happen from Noble. I mean, we saw it there at the very end when Guy had that he almost scored there right at the end, but because he didn't quite get it, and then it got pushed back out mid, and because, remember, we were talking about that pressure release with the third playing so far back that no one's there to really capitalize on the plays like that to result in goals. One thing I think that Noble can improve on here this series is that instead of having the person maybe in net, I'm not sure why that is a strategy, but everyone's got their own type of strategy, but one thing they could work on is if they want to bring that person out of net and maybe chase for some demos, be more aggressive, because I think that's the one thing they were lacking that game is they aren't able to hold as much pressure as the Spartans were. As we saw on the scoreboard, the shot differential between the two teams was a massive gap, and I think if Noble can close that, then they'll make a comeback in this series.
I think another thing that we definitely need to look at there, the stat sheet that we saw on the scoreboard, is the amount of shots that were made there. Of course, Noble was able to have at least twice the amount of shots, and so the question becomes there, the Spartans were able to have twice the number of shots that Noble had. So the question becomes there, what can we do with that type of gameplay? Do they need to be more aggressive just in general? But, what's not aggressive? This arena, but the energy inside of it is electric as we head into our game 2.
It seems to have immediate pressure from the Spartans looking at that Mafia strategy that we saw last series. And we're seeing a lot of kickoff pressure immediately in a lot of these games. And I think it's a very solid strategy. It kind of catches the defense off guard early on in the game, and it works on every kickoff. Like, it doesn't have to only be the starting kickoff. Any quick attack works perfectly against a solid defense. We see a lot of pressure from both teams here. Noble able to keep it out of their half for a quick second as Spartans start their counter. You see a quick pass back mid, which is a great opportunity for Gummy Bear to line up for a possible solo play.
Yeah, and I think one thing we're noticing here that we haven't seen in the other few games that we've been playing, or at least haven't commented on, is the ability to regroup anywhere on the map, which Noble Academy seems to be doing a lot. You notice them sometimes turning the ball even over towards their own side of the court and bringing it towards them, and that's not a bad strategy to do, especially if you need to regroup. You do need to understand that the ball is on your side of the court now. You have to make sure that it doesn't go into your net, but it does allow you, if your team is there and ready for it, to gain control of the ball and be able to do plays like we're seeing Guy and No Idea do.
For sure, and again, the amount of pressure from the Spartans here has been, it's hard to get that pressure out of their half for Noble. It seems like Spartans are taking they have the boost advantage over Noble in this game. As a quick attack from Noble, it gets denied by Gummy Bear, and let's see if he can line up a solo play here.
Yeah, let's go and take a look and listen into some of the players that are competing right now to give you guys a little bit of insight into what they're thinking about.
I should have went faster. I see you. Oh. I see you. Take control. It's one-on-one.
Yep, we're going to go ahead and go back into the game now, take a look at what's going on, and see where we're at.
Good try.
Of course, no scores being made yet. A lot closer of a game, I feel, here.
Oh, for sure. You know, we're approaching the halfway mark here in this game, too. Spartans have showed a lot of power on the offensive side, but Noble has been able to fend that off, kind of have that wall nice and high for their team on defense. And Guy kind of leading the pack for Noble on the offensive half. You see him a lot with great challenges, great touches around the opponent to try to set up his team for a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, seems like an amazing strategy there by these teams. And again, they're fluctuating in and out. I've seen multiple times that the player who's been by net has changed, but right there, as we saw, when the players changed, it seemed to have caused maybe disruption in the communication and led to Noble being able to get a shot on goal.
Oh, for sure. And again, you see the setup from Guy coming from the corner, punching it out to, I believe, I have no idea assisted that. I can't quite remember, but either way, he set up his team for a scoring opportunity, and it actually bounced back to him, and he was still able to make that play on offense. Great offensive pressure there from Noble. As we see it here quickly, responsive from the Spartans. It seems like they're still running that one-and-net strategy. It seems to be working for them so far, but let's see if they can maybe change that and get on a more offensive half with this remaining minute and 45 seconds.
Some people may be seeing it as a respectful play as well, since Noble Academy's also taking that in. You know, that makes it so that this is a 2v2 when it comes to offense and a 1v1 when it comes to defense. You know, that could be seen as a very respectful thing to do. You know, make sure that the team stay even, try your best. But again, mechanics like demo exist in Rocket League. You can take advantage of having one player be down in a certain area. So I think both these teams could maybe use that to their advantage. And I think Noble Academy is maybe showing a little bit of that themselves.
Oh, for sure. And we saw the Spartans in the first series against the Patriots. They were running the full three-man rotation, and they were really, really good at it. And to bank off of what you said, maybe a respect and sportsmanship thing, because, you know, Noble runs both of these games now. They've ran the third man in net constantly, permanently, and it's held a decent game against the Spartans for them, but maybe we'll see a change in game 3 if Spartans bring this back and take game 2.
No idea, with an aerial dribble there, almost in goal, but hitting the back post of the net. And a little bit of conflict here on the Spartans' corner, but bringing it back over towards Noble Academy. But a good denial there by I have no idea. We're going ahead and seeing Gummy Bear try to bring it towards midcourt and bring it to Noble's side as we go ahead and see a 0-1 within the last 20 seconds. What can the Spartans really do here to be able to take it away? We'll just have to see. I have no idea. Trying to make a shot towards net, hitting the backboard and bringing it back over. 10 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, I mean, they got to get this ball just like they've done in Noble's half here. As long as it stays up, it's got to bounce.
Ooh,
there it is.
And there we go.
Tie it up. 0 seconds. Great play from, I believe that was Peyton off the wall. Great touch off the wall. Gets the bounce just before the 1 second hit the clock, so it does not count as a grounded ball. Gets back up in the air. Noble, unfortunately, cannot make the save. This game's going to OT.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely amazing to see as we go into a kickoff in OT here. And the next goal is going to give it to us here. If it's made by the Spartans, we'll be going into a 1-1 series here. But if it's made by Noble Academy, that could be really devastating.
Yeah, we could definitely see a good series lead here for the Spartans as they have taken game 1. Noble looking to at least be in the race for this lower bracket series here. Good 50s coming from Peyton. Spartans have seemed to have good pressure throughout this first 30 seconds of overtime. Hopefully they can keep that up, and hopefully it's not a long overtime for them, because personally I know that long overtimes can have an impact on the mental and like the stamina, the endurance of your team play, and just solo play in general. Like it could really affect a team's mental.
Yeah, I have no idea going ahead and playing in the air here, trying to keep it within their corner. Maybe trying to regroup here and make a coordinated attack against the Spartans, but so far the Spartans just seem to be putting a lot of pressure over towards net with a really good save there.
Yeah, that was a great save by the Noble Academy. Spartans have, I think this is the first time the ball has been out of the Noble half in this entire 1 minute 20-second overtime, and they're punching hard at the Spartans half right now, and you know, Spartans haven't witnessed that in this overtime yet, so it seems like they reacted well. They get a bit of a counterattack here with Peyton hitting it to the corner. Gummy Bear taking a 50 to try to put it mid. No third around. As we've seen that type of play style, that's just kind of the consequence you pay for playing that play style. But respect to them, it's working for them so far.
Shots being made on both goals as we enter the almost 2-minute mark here with the overtime, and this is by far the longest overtime we've had so far in the series, at least on broadcast. I want to ask this to you, while this is all going on, you know, the longer an overtime goes, do you think that has any effect on the teams?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's been, in the Pro Series actually, this past weekend, there was a 7-minute overtime and a 5-minute overtime, and both teams took a timeout after that. Both teams took a timeout, and so you know that it really affects the players because you're going at it head-to-head, and mind you, there's no scoring, so there's no like, oh yes, okay, we got the lead. No, you both have the lead at this point. You're wondering who could take it from the other person, and a 5 to 6 minute period, if that happens here, I could see maybe a timeout or something being called for these teams to take a break.
Yeah, I mean, after all of that, I would be just exhausted and I'd need a nap. Honestly, I would need a nap. I wouldn't even be on the casting desk. I would be gone. If that type of overtime happened, I don't know what the longest overtime has ever been inside of Rocket League. Possibly nobody ever knows, you know, with so many games going on inside the servers. But, you know, it's absolutely amazing to watch these players. Like, they are neck and neck, and they are still playing, just both playing together, able to capitalize on each other's weaknesses, but use each other's strengths as well to go ahead, but make goals just like that for Noble to go ahead and tie up the series.
I mean, they did it. Noble has proved that this strategy works. Now, will Spartans, if this series continues and goes to a Game 5, will the Spartans, you know, you got to wonder, will they kind of respect that play style, or will they go back to the play style they had against the Patriots? 3-man rotations, great offense, but huge win for Noble there. No idea. I mean, you see the amount of saves coming from this Noble team. 10 total saves. That is a lot of saves in one match. Noble admin having 6 of them, and that's the benefit to having somebody in net. You know, you can trust that person to get those saves, and they definitely proved it this game.
Admin being the player that's playing a little farther back, you know, that high save count is, you know, not shocking to say, but is something that, like, we love to see. We love to see these players, you know, utilizing their defenses and utilizing the skills that they've made here playing the game. And honestly, I'm exhausted. Give me a moment. I need some water.
But to bank off what Dante said, I mean, it's a great strategy to run, and it's a kind of a trustworthy strategy as far as having somebody in net and seeing that number of saves. But I think one thing Spartans have to look for, knowing that that is their strategy, they're going to have somebody in net. You got to look for demos, because Spartans had a lot of shots on goal. I mean, 10 of them were saved, and I didn't check the Spartans shots, but having 10 saves, you had to have had at least 12 to 15 shots on net that game, and to have that and not scoring, you gotta look for different ways. Pressure's great.
Yeah, and the pressure that we're having here in the kickoff of the third game in the series. Gummy Bear going ahead and playing some aerial gameplay here, trying to pass it over towards Payne, but Payne not able to truly capitalize. Gummy Bear now going from behind and going ahead and making another shot towards goal. Guy being able to bring it towards the Spartan side, and Payne going ahead and bringing that pressure back over. Gummy Bear and Payne communicating with each other and keeping this pressure on the Noble side of the field.
For sure, the 1-2 punch between these two has been great so far this series, and we saw it quite a bit in the Patriots series as well. But seeing that 1-2 punch, you know, Gummy Bear leaving the play, getting a demo for Peyton to take time with the ball and immediately pass it back to Gummy Bear for a shot on net. It's a really good 1-2 punch duo there. Especially, it's good to have that when you have somebody in the net permanently. So, a great shot there from Peyton. Doesn't quite connect. Good toss off the backboard from Gummy Bear. Peyton not quite recovered yet. Can't make a play on the ball. Quick counterattack here from Noble.
Yeah, Noble going ahead and doing a really good job of keeping the pressure over here on these Spartans. Noble Academy, of course, no idea, going ahead and trying to make a shot towards goal. Racer being able to stop everything. Guy trying to go ahead and keep the pressure on the Spartan side of the field, but Gummy Bear is able to maneuver around and get a really good shot on goal there.
Yeah, that is a very good shot. That's a good little counterattack downfield. You know, he kind of just took it for himself, you know, and he had the awareness that the back half of that Noble team wasn't quite filled up on boost yet, so he was able to get a quick dribble down the field, pop over, top left. Great shot from him just outside of the first minute of the game.
Yeah, and I think also it sort of highlights the sort of strategy that the Spartans have when it comes to getting shots on goal. They sort of slip around the defenses like a snake going through the grass. They're trying to go ahead and find those moments to slither on through, get the ball in, and then use that added pressure in that freak out moment to make the shot that they can. Because during that freak out, you're gonna miscalculate. You're gonna jump at the wrong time, or you're going to just go a little bit too fast and not be able to truly stop the ball.
Yeah, and you see there, you know, Gummy Bear takes time with the ball. You know, he recognizes that he's zero, but no one is challenging yet, so he has the time to take. You know, it kind of threw Peyton off a little bit, I think, there, because he got a little close to Gummy Bear. He was expecting him to try to get a pass mid a little earlier than he was. But great shot there from Noble Academy, just off the post.
Yeah.
I think they need to look for a little more pressure this game.
I think also that the Spartans, if they want to keep this up, may need to continue their communication up. You know, we've seen several moments of Peyton sort of going forward and playing off of Gummy Bear, hoping that Gummy Bear was going to continue going forward like we saw here with the added pressure onto Noble Academy's goal again and again and again. But of course, that'll go very far. Gummy Bear is a very strong player, but the communication is needed in order for those shots to be successful more often.
Oh, 100%. And the communication factor comes into play when you look at this 1-2 punch between Gummy Bear and, believe... Oh, sorry. It completely threw me off. The goal was scored.
The amount of pressure being placed on the Spartans' goal just overthrew you there.
It completely overwhelmed me. I did not expect such a quick reaction from Noble Academy to at least make it a little more winnable here, reaching the halfway mark.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock here as we go into our next kickoff. If Noble Academy is able to get another score, we might be seeing another overtime, but we'll see how far that goes. There's been a lot of more scoring towards these last few seconds, and I think that's mostly due to the fact that these teams are playing a little more aggressive now.
Oh, for sure. And if we do see another overtime, depending, I mean, the last one was what, close to 3 minutes. We were approaching the 3-minute mark when Noble Academy scored, but if we have another one here in Game 3, how can that affect future games if the series isn't ended in that game?
Gummy Bear going ahead and saying, no, I'm going to make that score gap just a little bit larger. Going ahead and setting up with a bounce off of the wall, aerial play here, and making the shot, and it just wasn't enough for Admin to be able to stop it, but a very good attempt.
Yeah, that's a very good shot from Gummy Bear. Again, you see these solo plays from him, and it's really hard to defend a team with a player of that magnitude because they could just take the ball and, as you mentioned, just kind of slithering around the opponents and being able to make plays offensively and score like that.
Yeah, Payne going ahead and taking control of the ball here on the Spartan side of things, playing a little bit of aerial action, but is being defended by Noble with a bit of help from Guy, and I have no idea. Gummy Bear going ahead and bringing it towards the backboard side of Spartans, bouncing off against the wall in the corner and trying to put more pressure on Noble Academy. As we enter into these last minute of the game, what do you think that these teams are really thinking?
It's looking like the Noble Academy has kind of stepped up the aggression here at the end of the game. In the last minute, they've been a lot more aggressive than they were in the early game, as we see a very close shot there from Noble Academy just off the post. But you know, as I mentioned before, the pressure from both of these teams, it's good, but only for certain lengths of time. Like, you know, sometimes the Spartans have this consistent pressure, and then every now and then the Noble have consistent pressure. And it's good to see that back and forth pressure from the teams, but it's always the team who has the more pressure that usually gets more shots on net, which leads to more goals, which obviously leads to more wins, as we see closing in on the 30-second mark for the Spartans. Up to Peyton, takes it mid, no one around from Noble to be able to make a play. He does cut off Peyton there, though, for a second. Gummy Bear is up, challenged by I believe that was...
Looks like Guy.
Looks like Guy. Had good offensive pressure there from him. But off the backboard of Noble, no one from Spartan's around to kind of put the nail in the coffin here.
Yeah, I'm really wondering as well, one thing that we haven't seen compared to the other broadcasts, I feel, has been the demo aspect of the game. We haven't been seeing a lot of demos being utilized, and I think that's mostly from the strategies that are being employed by both these teams, at least in the first 2 games. Gummy Bear going ahead and trying to make a dribble and making a goal to go ahead and close this one out 4-1, and giving the Spartans a little bit more of a lead as we head into the next game in this series.
For sure, and Game 4 is going to be very interesting from both of these teams. You know, game point for Spartans here, being up 2-1 in the series. How can Noble react to that? You know, their strategy worked for a game, but you see the amount of pressure that the Spartans had that game. Actually, I kind of take that back because Noble had very similar pressure with 8 shots against Spartans 9 shots. Noble having just a slight disadvantage at saves, as we see with the score. But Gummy Bear, how can they stop Gummy Bear next game? I think that's going to be Noble's key.
Yeah, that could also be Noble's key, but I'm also seeing that the saves here are a lot more even. It seems they're moving away from that strategy of keeping one person back dedicated to defense and instead sharing that role between all of them. And I think that's a really nice way to show a different strategy from them. And as we can see, seems like the Spartans are doing really good by having that sort of strategy. They're more balanced towards it, it feels.
Oh, I mean, 100%. And they played a great offensive and defensive game.
Yes.
That I shouldn't even say just that game. The entire series has been really well for them on both sides of the field. And, I mean, you see the amount of pressure that not only the Spartans, but Gummy Bear individually has been able to hold on this Noble team. They got to find a way to stop them.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of demos towards Gummy Bear's way, probably to keep those offensive pushes going on. But these players are getting ready and getting set. What type of communication is going between them? Can't wait to see it, but we can't wait to see exactly what's going to be going on in the game as we head towards kickoff.
I mean, for sure. I hope that I really want a Game 5 on stream or Game 7 on stream.
Yes.
We've seen it in the upper bracket last round, but I hope that we can see it as we get into this Game 4. It looked like immediate pressure from Spartans there once again, and they continue that with a pop mid from Gummy Bear. No one quite there to react fast, but Peyton ends up getting to it. Shot for Gummy Bear, denied by Adbin. I mean, having that person in net, it's really good to, like, for awareness as of the other 2 players. Like, they know that someone they can trust is back there to make saves like that when Gummy Bear puts a good shot on net.
But, of course, when stuff like that happens and that person is already predisposed, has already saved a ball, as we saw there from Racer, people like Guy can go ahead and make plays that allow for people like I Have No Idea to make shots. Gummy Bear was already predisposed with something else going on, but had to rush back to net to make that defense. That may be one of the flaws within this strategy, but still, excellent gameplay coming out from all of these players.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have made this series very interesting, and you know, again, you can't even keep talking without something happening right after kickoff. Again, Peyton, early pressure, again, responds really quickly against this Noble team. Caught him a little off guard. That's the advantage to having those kickoff goals, is you kind of get the defense a little bit on their toes at the end, and, you know, they just lost balance there.
Yeah, and we're going ahead and seeing now pressure being put towards the Spartan side as Gummy Bear going ahead and noticing that and putting the pressure back on Noble Academy. Being sort of the solo player is a really great idea when it works out, but eventually, if the team starts to catch on and starts demoing Gummy Bear or keeping them out, you know, what does this leave for the team, for the Spartans? What are they going to be able to do to sort of recover from that? Currently, that strategy's been working, but it doesn't work forever as we go ahead and see I Have No Idea making a great shot.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, you saw the demo coming downfield on the way as Spartans were rotating back. Great demo from them. But, you know, it just wasn't enough. Noble was able to react quickly, you know, recover from that demo, get some boost, and be able to put an amazing shot on net like that.
Yeah, going ahead and seeing another kickoff here. Gummy Bear going ahead and applying pressure over towards Noble Academy. Once again, another demo on another member of the Spartans, leaving their team a little lacking at that point, and also only leaving one person to possibly defend since Gummy Bear is this pushed up on the field. You know, people like Guy and people like I Have No Idea seem to be using those moments to try to get shots like that, but Racer able to stop it.
Oh, they definitely are, and we've seen it this game so far as, you know, Noble has the 2 shots on net, unable to make a save there. Can they recover? They do, just in time to be able to get that out from in front of their net. But going back to the offensive side of Noble, you know, you see I have no idea and Guy. I mean, they put good pressure. In this game, the one thing they've changed is those demos, and it has helped them significantly so far.
Yeah, it also seems like Gummy Bear and Peyton had a little bit of a collision there when they were trying to both go for the shot while the ball was still towards the net. You know, if that didn't happen, if maybe the communication was just a little bit different, we could have been seeing a much different score here by the Spartans. Going ahead and watching Peyton now trying to deny some advances made by Noble Academy. Guy going ahead and bouncing the ball back. Good pass over towards No Idea. Gummy Bear trying to bring more pressure over. The solo player is trying to do their best. And of course, you've got people like Guy going ahead into the air, putting pressure towards the Spartans net.
And, you know, Guy, I think the opposite to Guy, I mean, the opposite to Gummy Bear is Guy, right? You know, he's very mechanical with the air. He's making good plays. You're seeing a lot of more aggressive and tough plays coming from both of these teams now. As you see, 3 consecutive demos back to back to back. And that, I think both of these teams have figured out that that's the way that they can win is, you know, you have to get these players off the field, as we see another demo coming from the midline. But these teams have figured it out.
Yeah.
And can they capitalize and finish off, can Noble finish off this game to stay in this series and send it to a game 5?
And the question also becomes, are the Spartans going to be able to add more pressure and maybe get 1 or 2 more shots in to go ahead and close out this series? You know, they have the advantage, and Gummy Bear apparently hearing what I'm saying and going, you know what? Yep, I got you. Watch this.
Yeah, you just have to nudge him just a little bit. He'd get back into his zone. He's been a little off so far this game, but he's able to bring it back and tie up this game 4 against Noble Academy. I mean, this is game point for Spartans here. Can they capitalize and kind of fully finish off this series to move on?
Yeah, it sounds like there was another game that just concluded in the arena, and those 2 teams were absolutely electric with each other. And of course, we're having that same sort of energy here through the Spartans and Noble Academy broadcast. You know, these 2 teams I feel are very close with each other and very similar in their play styles and able to make points like that, you know, showing that Gummy Bear, you're not the only one who's able to sort of snake your way through, as No Idea is able to bounce the ball off of the corner and bring it straight into the goal.
For sure, and that was a great 50 in the corner by Guy to set up that play for I have no idea. He had the perfect amount of boost, you know, he's able to pat. You can call it padding. I think the term for it in Rocket League is padding. You're grabbing pads in the midfield, keeping your boost up without having to go all the way to the corner to get one of those big boosts. And he did that perfectly there and was set up perfectly from the 50 from Guy to set up the goal.
Yeah, No Idea going ahead and trying to take control of the ball here, but 3 members of the Spartans are trying to make their way. Actually back off a little bit because they, I believe, calculated that a shot on goal was going to be happening. Since this player is sort of by themselves, maybe trying to do a Gummy Bear move there. But Noble Academy being in the lead in this final minute, you know, it keeps them alive in this series. But if the Spartans are able to get any sort of advantage here and get a point in, you know, that could change things up dramatically for the mental of these 2 teams.
Oh, for sure. And then maybe I could even get my game 5 on stream. You know, I've been waiting for it since we started today off, but it looks in great advantage here of Noble Academy as they have not let their foot off the Tigers' neck this entire game. They've always stayed 1 step ahead. A little bit of a danger here. Great save from the 3rd man. You love to see that. Good demo from I have no idea. You know, it's just a great combination of things that happened there defensively for Noble. And Guy, by his reaction, he sounded like he just peaked.
Yeah, it seems like that was an absolutely incredible gameplay there and good communication between that team to get that shot in as Guy's able to just bounce the ball right in and just bring it over.
Yeah, he got the touch off the ceiling and it came back down and just tipped off of his car to get the shot on net. I don't think Spartans were expecting it.
Yeah, I don't think Spartans were expecting it, and they're going to try their best, but Noble is going to go ahead and close it out and bring us into a game 5 for stream.
I get it. I finally get my wishes. This has been a great series so far. Very back and forth. You know, we saw the game 1 win and then tied the series. Game 3 win, tied the series. So it's very back and forth, but there's only 1 game left. You can't go another back and forth. So who can step up? Can Noble step up and win 2 in a row? Because it's been back and forth. Yeah. You know, you see, I have no idea with 3 goals, 3 saves. Again, they have more than 6 saves on this game. And less from the Spartans, but more shots from the Spartans.
Yeah, and again, half of the prophecy has been fulfilled. It's time for the overtime in Game 5. If we'll be able to see it, I'm going to be absolutely excited for it. And maybe, maybe it goes for 7 minutes. Maybe it goes for 9. Maybe we're here all night. Maybe we're here all night. That's what, that's my prediction. We're here all night.
Yeah. As far as for the team's sake, I really hope that it's a quick overtime. I believe after this we're going to go into lunch, and I could tell that they're waiting. They've had to play 3 series now. I think actually it might be 4 now, including dropping down from the upper bracket. But I know they're ready for a good break. Get some time in to think about strategies that they could go into the back half of the day with.
Yeah, and as we enter here into kickoff of Game 5, there's a bunch of energy in this room. But one thing is for sure, one of these teams will not be advancing forward. And that's the real part that's going to be scary as we go into kickoff and see that these teams are at each other's throats immediately.
Oh, for sure. And to factor in the fact that they won't have another chance after this, right? So how are the nerves feeling? Like, if you get scored on, do you completely just kind of break down, or are you able to fight back mentally and kind of bite right back at the other team? It seems like both are able to do that right now. A lot of back and forth pressure from both of these teams as probably Peyton takes it to the corner. He's trying to rotate out as Gummy Bear stays in to get a touch mid. No one there to capitalize off of it. Peyton is there on the wall. It's an all right touch mid. Noble's able to react to it quickly, though.
Yeah, and one thing I want to highlight there is Gummy Bear did try to make a shot on goal, but 3 people from Noble Academy all came in and immediately went, nope, and stopped it. That's really showing the communication between these team members and really showing what they're capable of doing and what needs to happen.
Oh, for sure. And like you said, the 3 people on Gummy Bear, so Noble knows what they have to do. Okay, they saw the 4 goals from Gummy Bear in Game 3. They saw that type of pressure from him, and they realized that, look, this is what we need to do to stop this guy and to win these games.
Yeah, and of course we're hearing a lot between the teams of, nice play there, hey, I need help here. That's the type of communication that we're definitely trying to listen for and see between these players. We're hoping that they're keeping that communication up. And of course it may lead to goals like this, but of course players are staying back and staying defensive. So Instinct, if you were in this sort of situation, 3 minutes are left on the clock, Game 5, 0-0. What are you going to suggest to these teams to try to change up maybe, or try to do in order to get a score on the point, or score on the board, and get themselves an advantage just like Payne was able to do?
The way I look at it is, in a situation like this where you're on the brink of full elimination and not being able to have another chance, and it is Game 5, who knows if it goes into OT? It's a thriller if it does, but one thing I look for is consistency. Consistency and being able to kind of shut out the fact that if we lose, it's over, right? Because, at the end of the day, you come to this land and you've played really well. You've played a lot of great series. Even on stream, you've been able to perform on stream very well. So, just shut out the fact that it's over, because at the end of the day, you've played it. You played your game very well.
And I think outside of all that and looking just at the LAN environment itself, this is just a great opportunity no matter what. These teams got to say, hey, I went to the UNCG Esports Arena. I played in front of other teams in person. My match was broadcasted, and I got to show my abilities on this game.
And a quick cutoff. I hate to cut you off here, but we have a awkward Rule 1 in the Noble net here. It looks as if, so for those who don't know, a Rule 1 is when 2 cars meet head on head and they are both kind of stuck, and that is not an actual rule in the game. The Rocket League community actually came up with that and is like, look, if you get locked with these cars, you can't come out.
Just another sign of respect and sportsmanship between them to not break that rule. It's not even real. They could break it if they want. This competition is going on. You could be eliminated, and you're still respecting. That just shows the type of players that these people are.
You got to think in the position of Noble Academy here. You're down 1, right? And you got a teammate in a Rule 1, and it's it's a 2v2, so they may not be stressing as much as I'm thinking they are. But when you have something like that, I mean, I've been in a Rule 1 in one-on-ones.
Oh,
so
goodness.
what do you do, right? If you're losing, well, you kind of want to break it, but it's a great respect and sportsmanship from the community to kind of bring this rule into play, and great sportsmanship here for them to stick to that.
Yeah, absolutely amazing as we enter into the final minute. I believe, yep, they're still over there. And at this point, you're asking, you're just wasting gas money at this point. Do you know what the price is on that? You know, come on, guys. But no, I think that's actually just this entire game. But either way, it's a lot of fun, and it's absolutely amazing to watch it all. As Spartans are in the lead currently, what can Noble Academy do?
They scored.
That's apparently what they got to do.
Scored.
Scored and tied it up, and the Rule 1's over.
The Rule
They
1's
don't have
over.
to do it
The
anymore.
Rule 1 is over. One thing that kind of, I shouldn't say breaks Rule 1, but a loophole for Rule 1, if your teammate goes over and breaks the Rule 1 himself, then there's no disrespect to breaking the Rule 1, but it has to be a teammate. You know, that's kind of the thing that the community's made a thing. So, but with close to 30 seconds remaining, I think we're going to see our Game 5 OT.
Yeah, we may see our Game 5 OT here as we go ahead and see I Have No Idea trying to actually break the prophecy and keep it away, but Gummy Bear going ahead and putting in more defense, putting pressure over towards Noble. Noble bringing that pressure right back towards the Spartans' half. 15 seconds left on the clock. What all are they going to be able to do? Or are we going to finally see that overtime?
I'm seeing a lot of pressure from Noble here. They could end it before overtime begins. If they can find a counterattack, great release from Spartans there. They came out like a bullet down the field. You know, it had been in their half for so long, an immediate counterattack from Noble. But we do see a Game 5 overtime. I'm happy. My wish has been granted.
Finally fulfilled for you. And I'm still seeing these players have an amazing time, so my wish is always going to be fulfilled. But yeah, these players are going to go ahead into overtime. Any score will advance that next team into the next part of this championship. And you know, at this point, all we have to do is predict and guess at what's going to happen.
100%. And when you get into a situation like this where it is Game 5 overtime, any goal ends the series here. Any goal ends a single team's day, you know, because in lower bracket it's tough. You fight, you go head on head, you flat really well, and this has been a great example of it. You see, our first Game 5 OT comes from lowers. You know, those teams fighting for a position in this tournament still. I have no idea. Calls game. Noble takes it in 5.
Yes, and able to quell the Spartans' wishes to go back and face against the Patriots.
Yeah.
At Noble Academy, able to take it away and continue themselves on. And just absolutely amazing gameplay from both of these teams. Seeing Game 5 overtime, of course, your prediction, your wish, the absolute respect between these teams. Yes. It's just so amazing to see and so great to just be in this sort of environment.
Oh, for sure. And Spartans, you know, they played an amazing game. It was a great series. They are a good all-around team. We saw it in the qualifiers a couple weeks ago. We saw it in the Patriots series, a lot of close games. They fight really hard in these series. We saw it again here, Game 5 overtime. Game 5 overtime, and you see just an astonishing finish from Noble. But great defense in that first half of the, first part of the overtime from Spartans to keep hanging on to the game on defense.
Yeah, with that all being said, I think we're going to head towards a little bit of break. We'll be back later on today with the rest of our proceedings, but we'll see you guys in just a few moments.